if we're making lower highs, the market's about to get to the top, again, the highs, and if we're holding lower, if we're going to hold there and IBIT's going to hold VWAP, I'll probably go to BMNR, bit of a head and shoulders type play on the session, also play off of the volume weighted average price for a short. Well, you know we're going to be enjoying some fried chicken today.
Yes.
You know we're going to be having fun with it. I'm willing to bet that by the time we come to noon, for the lesson of the day, there should not be any chicken on my plate. If there is...
There will not be.
No, but the only way that that would be true is if it's late.
Which it's not.
Which it's already here?
That's how Sharif knows.
Oh, I thought he looked at the email. I know it was already here.
No.
I'm going to be done that in like 15.
He tried to grab some early.
That's going to be done in like 11:15. I didn't realize it was already sitting here. Yeah, I'm going to eat this now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's only way is if it's undercooked, I guess. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Like if for some reason, which it won't be.
It'll be great.
I mean, and I'll probably eat one anyways, even if it is undercooked.
All right, good trading. A couple positive traders on this side and a couple positive guys. And we'll see what they're trading over on that side. Yeah, he's getting ready for the mac and cheese today. See everybody. We'll be back at 2 p.m. Thanks to Derek for all your coverage today. Thanks everybody for working with us. Stay late with these guys, man. 11 to 2 o'clock. It's the midday. Go get them, boys.
Well, that's our new one.
Boom, 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 and boom. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and we're going to have to do this for your boy, Leo. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's 1-0 to the Arsenal. It's 1-0. To the Arsenal. Hey, there's my man Juan. If we could get him on the camera right now, it'd be fantastic. But good morning, everybody. Let me just load up the chat. I'm a little late today. I do apologize. Let's say hello to everybody. And we have our viewers on TikTok as well. Let's say hello to them. Shout out to our amazing mod, Bravely, always getting us right. Keeping us straight. Time for an Arsenal bottle job. Come on, Kevin Kelly. Why do you have to start off my day like that, man? We got one there late, and it was fantastic. I'm feeling good. Shout out to Big 40 Nephew. Bristol's in the house. Shout out to Crypto Q5X, Texas Boy 1979. Think Organic Studios. I'm thinking. We got Armenian Muscle. Shout out to Blicky Spears, Ashraf Gel Press. We got Brent Roth and Noon Loon. He's lying about something. I don't know. Ashraf, yes, I see you. You're from Cairo, Ashraf. Shout out to you, my man. NFT Parrot. We got Princess JY8N and Wild Jaw. Roulette, Mark G120 and Angry Rob Entertainment. Shout out to Electric Pactions and Rick Raw Dog 1. Benton, there's my man Benton. The G is back, Joey. Charlie Wholesome, 2926, small cap. Hunters, yes, we're going to get on that in a quick second. Max Bet all in. Oshiri, Mr. Janky Stock, my PD, right? Dude, my man. And who else? We're going to say one more here. I'm looking for a new name. Hakuna Matata. Shout out to Hakuna Matata. I hope to be some Hakuna Matata today. Certainly not Hakuna Matata on Friday. But yeah, you win some, you lose some. Good morning, Joey.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Yeah, let's get right into things. We tried a couple attempts here on DRAM, no go on that one. So 0 for deuce now, starting to climb a little bit higher. And then SLV, a couple of the Amex names, just a little bit ebb and flow here going on today. I did not click Blue Ocean. Let's go over to the Amex here on SLV. Looking for the long, now starting to climb right back towards our entry price there. So we get out at that low. As I do a little bit of TI, I'm like, okay, was this the signal that we get out? So we're bottom wick there and now starting to climb a little bit higher. So yeah, slower start. I don't see anything right now. Tesla starting to climb. Well, yeah, we did take an attempt on TSLL, obviously. Now starting to climb a little bit higher. So things kind of moving without us, and we were just jumping in a little bit too prematurely. So with all them trades going giddy up, well, I mean, hey, man, none of them worked out. So we're going to have to be patient and see what we got going on. And wait for some other quality opportunities. DRAM's going to continue to climb here, I think, throughout the intraday session, especially if Micron and Samsung want to move higher. We were looking at the top holdings of this. I don't know why SanDisk, where I looked it up, SanDisk wasn't on it, but DRAM not looking too bad here. Micron, I was watching in Blue Ocean a high of around 8. Wow, intraday 818. Blue Ocean was around 812. So Yeah, I mean, watch out for these things to continue to climb higher. If we can look at it from a daily and see what we got going on. At some point, we will have that pullback. I mentioned it time and time again. As we get higher in price, you can see the expansion within the intraday price action. And with that being said, you're going to have to watch out for a potential pullback. And I'm not going to say it's going to break down, capitulate, and rug pull. I don't think that's necessarily the case, especially because there's so much demand for it. But there will be some form. It doesn't matter how strong, how in vogue you will. Eventually, things will cool down, and sure enough, you will see some selling step into the names. You just have to be patient. Now, let's head over to TikTok and see what our friend Bravely's got going on. I Can, Southern Nurse Sally's, Jaffet, Jatinder, there's Bravely. What's up, brother? Unknown Shadow. I like that one. Mambo Honda, Patrick. We have Keith Watson, Sherlock, Carlitos, Way, Carlito, Caribbean, cool. And we got, not the Randy, Nada, David, Amir Realtor, and we have Traditional Development, Joshua Armstrong, Stay Driven, Kayak Fishing, we love that one. A Girl's Girl, hey, what's up? Jay Moonster, Firestarter Mike, and one more, okay, to Ace. It is always okay to Ace. Rock and roll, there goes Silver, now printing 7712s. We never re-engaged on that name, so we'll be patient, wait for some more opportunities.
Scott Tomlinson's gonna put me in a beak wetting help group. I need help, Scott. I do need help. Thank you for your help.
Same.
Joey, yeah. I'm just gonna start off with this. This is Lumentum. LIT. No, this is not a small cap gapper, but it is up 18%, and it is into all-time highs. Guys, wet the beak. Don't forget to wet the beak. This one didn't look that good after earnings, and I think, some of us were a little bit worried. We had breached that 1,000. It felt like maybe we were going to lose $800. Then, the addition to the NASDAQ 100 certainly helps that as we get a lot of passive buying into these ETFs. So Lumentum, the gift that keeps on giving, but let's practice some gratitude. As I was just telling the individual that I just met at the gym, shout out to Price, man. He's a big fan of Joey Options. He's a big fan of the show. He's been watching us for 2 years, and I promised I'd give him a shout out. So shout out to my man Price, getting the work in the morning at the gym. That's my guy. And so yeah, we're gonna keep an eye out for Lumentum. But here's what I've got on. Let's get down to work. Poet's looking pretty good. It's not the best in the business, but it's up a respectable about 21% on the day. It feels like we might have some resistance here around the third of a dollar. 13.36 to be exact is the high of the day. I perceive support between about 12.85 and around 12.70 just based on the pre-market high and where the 10 EMA is. So Poet in focus, but nothing doing on that one yet. I'm also keeping an eye here on JZ for my American friends, not ZXN. This one, suffers from what a lot of these ones suffer from, is making new intraday highs and then just basically retracing right after that. And you're seeing that everywhere it does it, whether it's in the pre-market at 820, the implied balance open, 920, 930, and yet again here at 1030. It makes new intraday highs, it pulls back. How many times it plays that same old trick before it ends up losing VWAP? We're generally losing the higher lows. Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But Jay, for now, it's on Uncle Sheriff's good list. GSIT, also kind of looking bull flaggish here. I guess the money fill was that 1030 candle right off the volume weighted average price, which was like right at $11. So you got a bit of a double whammy there. You got the psychological whole dollar support, and you also got VWAP. And up until 1180 it goes. Alas, still has trouble with $12, seeing that it rejected that 1203 area. That's the high of the day. So GSIT in focus. INOD, I'm assuming a lot of people are not going to want to trade this, but this is a very, very strong name and has been strong, I want to say, for 3 days in a row. Breakout there in the aftermarket on Thursday, probably on earnings. Amazing continuation on Friday, and even more amazing continuation today. Just to give you an idea, from the closing print on Thursday, to the high of today, on INOD, we are up 141%. So this thing is ripping, all right? And it's not giving up levels. It's holding higher highs. It's holding higher lows. And there it is again into another high of day. It's ripping into 115. We were just talking about this at 111. So it's very expensive, mind you. So you're going to have to figure out some sort of way to balance risk. So keep your eye on that. But there goes Poet as well into another high of day, 1354. I was waiting for this one to drop into 13. Keep waiting, Sharif. It's not coming back down to 13 quite yet. PRSO, another kind of small cap gapper name I'm keeping a close eye on here. There seems to be a lot of support on PRSO at the 10 EMA on the 5. It's got a 139 high. It's got everything going for it here. It's got good volume. The volume is a little sporadic, as you'll see on the bottom right of your screen. Volume bars pop off and then kind of are a little bit dormant at times. So that's something that should factor into your analysis there. So PRSO. And then NVTS. This is a former convict. It's been locked up many times in the small cap gapper world. 36 high of day. It's holding trend. There is support at 22 here, and that's kind of the stair-step structure, right? You know what I mean by that? Like, that's area resistance, then we break through, we go on to the next step, but then we got to come down one little step, but then we hold that area of prior resistance, this time of support. I'm gauging that at around $22. Perhaps a good entry here is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high above prior bar high. So NVTS in focus, and then MRAA. I mean, I have a very, very checkered relationship with this name, having lost some money on it on a swing. But the fact of the matter is, it's been looking good. So have all the miners, because while they're changing the remote a little bit, all of a sudden they want to get into the, the data center game as opposed to mining. Doesn't really make a difference to me, baby. I mean, whatever they want to do. As long as they hold technicals, I'm kind of all game for that. So MRAA in focus, up a respectable 5%. There are other names as well in the world of mining that I'm sure you could have good trades on. So those are the ones I'm looking at, Joey. I've said very little about XGN because it hasn't been above the pre-market high yet. If it wants to clear the pre-market high, we'll get involved with that. Shout out to Lele. What's going on there, Lele? She wants me to look at Pali, P-A-L-I. She asks, she gets. We go to Pali. Joey's scheming something over here, guys. I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what he's doing, but he's doing something. He's got analytics. He's got a pen out. I feel like he's got his account.
I would have a pen out, though.
Yeah, but today it's a little bit different, Joey. I want to know what you're doing over there. I don't know what he's doing, Neil. See, there's my man, Neil. Neil knows what's up, man. There we go.
He's always working, man.
So Pali looks pretty good, Leandra. 180 Friday close, popping off into 192 now. You might have some resistance here, Leandra, just based on, look at Thursday and Wednesday's area low. It's basically 192, but looks fantastic on an intraday. It holds Friday's area low, and now we're trying to curl back up. Probably some resistance, Leandra. I would say just where we are right here, 190-ish, and then you're probably going to encounter some more resistance at 2 because that's been the consolidation area range top for, I would say, about 3 days or so. So good call on PALI. We'll have to see how this one ends up doing over here, Joey. So focusing on that, probably interested in Poet at the moment, as well as PRSO.
All right, good stuff, man. As you guys can see, we're in some DRAM right now. Let's see if we can hold up. I mean, we're going to take another attempt on that one. Tesla's off to the races here, guys. I mean, we could have engaged in that right at the volume-weighted average price for a second time. Didn't take it. So now starting to move, and you can see within the tape getting really strong, guys, up to $428. DRAM, let's see if this one works. Will be our final jumper on this one. If not, then we're going to have to be able to find some other spots on the floor where we can take some positions because right now we're already 20 cents OTM and we just hopped in it. So, I mean, boom, off to the races, ebb and flow on this one. You come up to these highs and then you start to reject. So as soon as we crack the volume-weighted average price, we're at a dodge. I started really small on this position, but the one missed train here for today for us is Tesla, TSLL, as this thing continues to climb. I haven't even looked at, I mean, I took a trade on IBIT as well, too. I was telling you guys that one, but I haven't looked at it since. I'm like, all right, cool. If you don't want to participate in this market rally, then by all means. But it's up to 45.93. Not horrible, right? We were looking at this at 47s. It did have a bounce, showed some bottoming signals here on IBIT. That's going to be some solid strength for Bitcoin, even though it's relatively flat, right? So and what I'm referring to is in the longer run. Now, as for the NASDAQ, choppy, I heard Sean mention it not too long ago either. It's just like, oh, okay, we have multiple tests of the 713 level, and we can't break it right now. So you want to try to get in at the lows. I'm in at the highs here on DRAM. As soon as it breaks the volume weighted average price, we're going to get out of that trade because that's going to be our final attempt on that one. Now, Tesla, I mean, there's not much more I can say other than it's up to $430. But what we can do is head over to our watch list and see how some of these other names are performing. $221 plus. NVDA on the high. Glad that we reloaded that one. And I was referring to the fact that, hey, you've seen all the other chip names going on these big time runs and NVDA wasn't doing anything, not participating. Well, yeah, guess what? It's the king of the chips time, and we're here to participate in this bad boy. Reloaded in the long term and in the swing account. And I told you what the game plan was for our earnings play here on NVDA. It's either it's going to work or it's not. It's either we're up or we're up bigly on that one, Sharif. Let's send it over to Adair.
Get it, Joey.
Tesla here, of course, sharply to the upside. I'm seeing reports, I haven't seen this confirmed yet, but it looks like the White House has apparently announced that Elon Musk will, in fact, be attending the summit with Xi. We heard reports going back about half an hour suggesting that he would be going to China with President Trump, but now apparently White House, again, has reportedly confirmed that Elon Musk will be coming with Trump and the delegation to the White House. If I get more details, I will let you know, and if I see any confirmation from the White House, I tried to find like an actual piece of confirmation, a press release, haven't seen that yet, but apparently White House says Elon Musk is coming. Back to you.
To our options trade, make sure you sit up straight and your back is not hunched. Now, moving forward, guys, let's take a look at the chain. We were talking about how they report on the 20th of this month. So we were going further out to like the June 12th. We're looking for a big move and a big move relatively quick. So, sorry, I've gum in my mouth. I should spit it out here momentarily. Now, we were talking at this name around $200. I think we were looking at the 2-something strike price. I can go back and we can double check. Now, those have really, really started to appreciate. But our objective here is that we're looking for NVDA to exceed its expected move so that we can capture multiple forms of premium. Now, we had written the 200. Oh, okay, so I remember exactly what the combination was. So we talked about it last week. Let's pull up this specific contract and we'll take a little bit more because it's appreciated in price quite a bit. So we were looking at it around $4 or so. Oh, yeah, it was around $4. It's now worth $10. So you're up substantially. But what we can do is just create a spread contract. So it's now worth $1,000, up substantially, but we can still collect $370. This was an out of the money contract, so we might have to move this up a little bit higher. Why? So we're at 221. I think if we construct the 240 and the 260 spread, we'll still have the ability to collect some time value on this one, considering it expires in 32 days. So that's my narrative. We didn't take advantage of this specific contract when it was worth $3. It would have been up huge at this point, but that's what if history. So now we have to work with what we actually have, and I think a good OTM spread leading into the earnings report is positive for this name. And I mentioned this not too long ago. I can't believe what Silver and Tesla are doing. Just too early on these entries, and they're absolutely going parabolic. Sorry to digress a little bit, but look at Silver heading right back towards the high of the day, and then Tesla's just living in its own world. All right, now one more thing before we send it back to Sharif is we have to look at these out-the-money contracts. Why? Because our objective isn't necessarily for the underlying to trade in the money, but so we can capture time value. And this contract has done that to the extent of almost 200+%. Okay, so it's unfortunate that we missed out on it. If it really starts to work out for us, we just buy back our short contract and allow that long contract to appreciate over time. Again, we have to be careful with theta. In regards to that, it's a shorter duration expiration cycle. So it's like, okay, a couple of days after the earnings report, it happens to exceed its expected move, then we look to close out the position.
All right, man. We're in Poet here, looking for a continuation into $0.75. We've got 71 pennies high. We got 61s on the moment, showing 69. No continuation through 70. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a big move through that $0.75. There's 72. Yeah, it's kind of slowing down a little bit. It's in a sense. I mean, it looks good, but who the hell knows if we're going to get the print? I mean, your guess is as good as mine. PRSO into 43 it goes. We're waiting at 45. Having had here, we've got 36s on PRSO. This is my 1R. Hence why I'm waiting in and around that area. So let's see what PRSO has to offer us. I have a bit of a bias that this at least moseys on into the $0.50, seeing as it has a $1.43 high. Whether it goes there in a straight straight line or zigs and zags and then stops me out along the way, we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. So that's what I'm looking at right now. We've got Poet on. There is 70 again. There's 72. Good move here. Looking for a bigger move. There's 74. No continuation through this level, sadly. Just packing the patience. Looking for a bigger move up into the mid 70s. Yeah, we get nice price spikes up, but no continuation and follow through feels like. There's a seller at 71 now. We're unable to even show 72, and right back down into 69 we go. So it's a 74 penny high. I think I was actually waiting at 74. There's 74 again. Sorry, 73 again. There's 74. We're going to take it out here. Cancel the other print. Good look. All right, so there's 1R for us. Still holding half the position. There's 77. 2R for me is 91. Let's go ahead and wait. We're going to wait 13, right around there. We're going to wait right around that area. Look at that topping tail candle into 83, right back down into the 70s. Poet is zigging and zagging here, guys. So be on the lookout. This could retrace a little bit more aggressively, possibly down to the $0.50. Continuing to wait on PRSO as we're still holding the entire position on this, not having taken out anything. So PRSO showing me some resistance here at $1.43. But be on the lookout here. PRSO is certainly a bit of a slower mover than Poet. Poet you can get at 10.15 price spike up, cent price spike up as we just got into 13.83. On PRSO, it's going to be more like, I want to say, more orderly in the ascent. So that's the look there. There it goes again, Poet into another high of day into 83. Again, no continuation. I'm waiting at 88s, okay? Even though my 2R on this one is going to be 91. I'm going to take it out at 88. I like that number. Here we go, 82 showing up. We're basically at the high of the day, but no follow through here as people feels like they're taking profits here a little bit, Joey, into the low 80s, high 70s. So continuing to watch this. I've also got more to say on GSIT, but there goes. PRSO into 1R. We waited. We didn't even touch anything on this one. There it goes again. 47s, looking for more. Got a bias that the 50 hits. So my 2R on PRSO is 54, but we're going to wait. We're going to take out some here just because it's going to be that $0.50 resistance. We know what that $0.50 usually does. There it goes again. So 49 now. Now this could be the beginning of the end for the good times. At least, for a bit. And the reason I say that is because that $0.50 is a staunchy bugger, right? And then look at that sell right off the bat right there. We get an aggressive sell right down into low 40s. So be on the lookout. Topping tail candle now, manifesting on PRSO. And this was what I meant. You get into that $0.50 area, 49, 48. Usually there's going to be aggressive selling as people like myself are going to want to take profits, man. We're not into this for forever, Joey. This is an intraday trade. As such, profit taken is part of the deal here. So continuing to watch Poet and continuing to watch PRSO.
Poet didn't even know it. A lot of good comments in the chat that I'm seeing here. I have to agree with you guys. So I'm going to mention this before we talk a little bit more about what we got going on DRAM. Tesla absolutely going nuts here today. And silver starting to recover. So I'm liking some of those names. But I find, and including myself, I see a lot of people in the chat. It's like, okay, I'll be up nicely in the morning. And then I tend to give up the majority of it in the latter half of the session, or I just keep trading. And I'm going to speak for myself in this scenario, but it's because it's a lack of satisfaction, right? You hit this threshold, you hit this profit target, and you're like, there's a couple things I think. Then you get greed and then the lack of satisfaction. Now, it's really tough to be like, okay, you hit your target, stand up, and then go and enjoy the rest of your day. It's like, but I didn't, like, I don't feel like I've accomplished something. I need to do more, and that's not the case, right? You need to just accept it for what it is, and that's just the reality of what trading is. It's like, okay, it's either it's extremely difficult, and you have those sessions where it's like, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better. You were grinding all day, you were down, you were up, you were down, you were up. But then you have those days where you're like, okay, you hit the button a couple of times, you're up nicely, and you're like, well, what, that's it? Yeah, that is it. That is it. Just get up and you've achieved the goal. Accept the fact that you've extracted profits from from the market and just go out and do something else. So if it's your side job, it's hit the gym, go for a walk or whatever it is, because I've seen some of the most successful traders and I've had conversations with them where they're like, if you're expecting to be fulfilled and satisfied every day with trading, you're in the wrong business, because that's not the case with certain things.
So
all right?
true, bro.
At times there's very little fulfillment because it's like, oh, that was almost too easy, right? It's just like, just get up. Just get up and leave, keep those profits. And trust me, I've been doing this for 5 years now. I have memories come up on my socials, and it's like, Joe, you started this I started studying in 2021. It's literally 5 years ago this month is when I started studying, and then 2022 January is when I went full time. All right? So, yeah.
Bro, people really like these narratives because a lot of trading is you're super isolated. Right, and you have no really kind of comparison. Am I on the right track? Am I not?
Yeah.
When you give this type of information, it's invaluable.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way, and I told you, and I just mentioned it. The most successful trader that I personally know, he's like, I get very little fulfillment from my trading. Right?
So insightful, bro.
Like, and it's like, there's certain things where you feel like you accomplished something. So when I go out and I went on my adventure that I was telling you about, I have a goal, right? Like, it's like, I'm gonna hit this benchmark. You hit it, you walk back, you feel fulfilled. That's not the case with this stuff.
Man.
It's not, some days you will, some days you'll feel happy, you do your due diligence, but there's a couple of sessions where you're just like, hey, I don't feel it, and you continue to trade, and then you end up giving your profits away, and then you feel worse at the end of the day. So I think that's a really, really big skill to hone in, is just, hey, get that money, go out and do something else, even though you may not be feeling completely satisfied.
Couldn't agree
All right. Yeah, so there's my little spiel there, guys. 433 smackers there on TSLA. No, NVDA hitting all-time highs. We like this one. Load the boat. As soon as I seen us start to recover on this candle, this was pretty strong. I understand that we had that big aggressive selling, but you almost bounce off of this consolidation high and then off to the races you go. We talk about quite often just the fact that it's extremely high in market cap, and it takes a lot of money to move this thing now because the float is so big as well. So I like how we're buying up leading into the earnings report. I think that's some good signs of strength, and that's exactly why I continue to buy up a little bit more NVDA. And I'm going to get involved with some of these memory plays, but I think there's a time and a place. We just have to wait for those pullbacks and not get too carried away and chase them all the way up here. I mean, we can look at the P's and say, well, they're still relatively cheap, so on and so forth. We'll look at Meta. Right? And I'm going to go to an example, Sharif, that you and I talked about before.
Let's hear it.
But Meta, relatively cool, but not performing well. I wouldn't be surprised if you start to see this stock at some point leading into the next report really start to gain some ground. And Sharif and I were looking at Google. I don't even remember what the price was, but him and I are talking about this name at a 23 times forward earnings. And we're like, what is going on here? And the stock has definitely doubled since that point. So,
as well it should, bro.
Yeah, as well it should,
man.
So,
they made good adjustments at that company. Hats off, chapeau.
So what I'm getting at here is we're going to be using our PE as a kind of a indicator. It takes a little bit more time because you're basing it off of fundamentals.
Yeah, and I do like that approach. I like looking at the price, looking at forward PE, NP, and what the technicals say.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both because a lot of the fundamental buyers are buying because of PE.
Exactly.
So there is a PE price floor or price ceiling that sometimes you can't go through unless you're kind of juxtaposing the fundamentals with the technicals. You bring up a fantastic point there. And I've always thought about that.
You know who, it's funny because you know who talks trash about PE sometimes, but it talks Josh Brown.
Yeah.
Josh Brown, he's like, yeah, it doesn't mean anything. And then you have it, but then he's
because he is a fundamentals guy.
Yeah,
he hates to see the froth in the market. I get that, right? He's a money manager. He's got people calling him up. Why didn't you buy more NVIDIA? But my golf buddy, my whatever, he's up this much. How come you're not up that much? Like that's part of the managing money business.
Josh Brown, last time, this was a long time ago. Josh Brown, he's been in like NVDA for like 15, 20 years.
He has. He wet the beak though.
Yeah.
He wet the beak pretty big.
Yeah. He trimmed
in
a large.
24, something like that.
He trimmed a large position, but he's still holding on. He's like, it was just too big.
Well, I get that, man. He's a money manager. It's a profession, right?
Exactly.
He's not degenning like we are over here.
He was, what is Josh Brown? I'm trying to think of his fund that he works at here.
Oh, it's what's that?
It's on the tip of my tongue, I know.
Yeah. It's with that Barry, Ritholtz Wealth Management. Thank you, Katina, man. Katina, man, coming through there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean.
Joey, I've got,
go ahead, man.
I've got a swing trade for people here that I think you guys should take this seriously. We called up Bloom Energy a while ago. Shout out to Mitch for that. But FCell is now starting to look a little crazy here on the chart. Remember we talked about a couple of bull flags forming on the sell here. This is the daily on FCEL. It's up another 19% today. It had a fantastic week last week. Couple of bull flags, as I mentioned. Look at the volume. Just follow the volume, guys. That volume breakout looks like to be 420. I'm not saying, but I'm saying. The volume coming out the 20th of April, really coming out the 21st. Bull flag number 1, bull flag number 2, and there goes FCell through the top of bull flag number 2. Could we get a bull flag number 3? Could we get a squeeze into $20? FCEL has been looking good lately, guys. Now, this is coming from way, way higher. It was a pandemic darling, and then it wasn't, okay? So I really want to stress that. Let's not forget where this one is coming from. I'm just trying to load up the weekly here to show you a bit of what this one is doing. But FCell has been making moves. Plug Power, that hot garbage as well, is also up 14%. Why does this have to embarrass me like this every time, man? Like, I'm just trying to ask for a weekly. How hard is the weekly here?
You're not getting it, Mom.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get it, Joey, but I'm sorry, guys. So when this thing decides to load up, we'll pull up the weekly there on FCell for you. But it's looking fantastic. It looks like a good swing trade. It's a theme, right, that's in vogue right now. The energy names, a key bottleneck in the AI stack. We've talked a lot about this. It probably behooves you to take a quick look at it. You know, maybe it fits your parameters. Maybe you've got a couple of bucks on the side you want to throw into a swing, suggesting FCEL for those who are interested. All right, continuing to hold PRSO. This one does look like the best trade is behind it. Sadly, at the moment, we're in at 36. I moved up my stop to shadow my entry. I like my entry as both support and resistance, so I'm not really putting in my stop here just based on my entry. My entry was based on technical area of resistance, so this 135 looks like it's jiving here. But I want to focus on Poet. I did get forced out of that because it did break trend. That hammer candle at 1125 breached multiple prior bar lows. It breached the prior bar and then the prior bar. So I had to get the hell out of there. So 1383 high on the Poet. The poetic one over here. We're looking for a $14 move. It's up 24.5, looking on 25%. So one that, you know, if you're a small cap gapper inclined and you want to follow along, perhaps you should be looking at that. GSIT though, I know I said very little about this one to start, but it looks fantastic over here. There it goes again, kind of. There's all sorts of respect for technicals here, and both to the good and the bad. What do I mean by that? 10-15, look at that, pops into 12, rejects 12, whole dollar level, right? Lo and behold though, where does it hold? VWAP and or the other whole dollar level, $11, a clean hold, and there it goes again, right back into $12 with the current bar high, just a little bit below the actual high of the day, 1205 current bar high, 1208, intraday high or high of the day, and it's got good amount of volume. I mean, put some freaking respect on this one's name. It's got about 250,000 shares doing over here on the current 5-minute candle. So GSIT looking pretty good. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. I had a feeling that this hot garbage JZXN was going to fail. And though, you know, it fit my price profile, it fit, you know, a lot of other things with higher lows and higher highs. It fit a lot of that. But then, geez Louise, it's going to be one of those days, Joey, on the charts, eh?
Loading.
Mine
was doing that this morning.
It's going to be one of those days, Joey. Jays, yeah. Shout out to the Jays. They tried to go for the sweep yesterday. It didn't happen, but that's fine. I'm going to the Jays game, too, this week with
Skybox.
Boy. Skybox. Hugo's hooking it up large.
Yeah, you guys are up large, man.
There's 18 of us going, eh?
Holy smoke.
Yeah. Mostly from the other side, though. A lot of them.
Those guys are always in for a good time.
They're always in, right? Like, they always have their socials. But yeah, I tried to tell you about it, but you know.
You tapped into a U there?
No, Assassino. He must be so disappointed with me. I'm so sorry, Assassino. I do apologize there. Are we going up to Adara?
Yeah, we're going to go to Adara. Then we're going to come back, talk a little US.
My bad.
We're talking crypto, and I would be remiss if we didn't discuss CRCL here because Circle's had quite the day to the upside. They did miss sales. Those sales rose by 20% year over year. EPS beat. They also became the first ever public company to conduct a token pre-sale. The token in question is going to be ARC. That's going to be the ARC blockchain. They raised $222 million from BlackRock and A16Z. So that's Andreessen Horowitz. Good look here for CRCL on the day. I mean, compared to where we closed here, we're certainly up on the day, closing around 113 on Friday, currently trading around 126, high of 128. Let's see if CRCL can make a new high of day before the session ends. Let's talk here about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is continuing this nice little uptrend here with that resistance from last week of 80, I guess not technically 83,000, closer to 82.8. Let's see if we can crack above that again. The next level of support resistance, according to this daily chart, would be that 84,000, close enough to where we ran into resistance last week. Furthermore, MicroStrategy or Strategy, MSTR, last week they indicated that they could be open to beginning selling some BTC if needed. They're not doing it yet, though. They bought $43 million worth of Bitcoin for 535 Bitcoins in total as of last week. Also, just an update here with Iran reports. Last I heard, Iran saying that keeping that enriched uranium and retaining that program is non-negotiable for them. They're not putting that on the table at all. In talks with the U.S., also seeing reports from CNN suggesting that there's very unlikely to be a deal between the U.S. and Iran ahead of Trump's visit with China, which kicks off on May 13th, ends on May 14th, 2026. Trump is still speaking here about maternal health care. There's nothing market moving at all happening there, but I'll keep you guys posted. Back to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I always like how he has everybody standing behind him. You know what I mean? Like, he gets to be comfortable. Everybody else has got to stand, though. And no matter who it is, you could be like the CEO of a company. You're standing.
Standing.
And you're going to stand behind him.
Man.
Sometimes he'll look back at you. He'll give you a glance. You know, he'll tap you there. Be like, oh, this guy's big. Oh, he's got big hands.
You knock people out. That's what he does.
How's the card on Saturday? I saw Strickland's face. He looked like he got mugged.
Man, I don't know about that. I don't know. I grow fighting called it Sean Strickland with the W. Hamzat didn't look too good, to be honest with you.
No, eh?
No, and this guy was supposed to be the boogeyman, really, but he didn't look too good. The co-main event was definitely a banger.
Who?
It's Joshua Van. These are 125 pounders.
Okay.
Like, these guys are Joshua, versus it's a Japanese name, Taisua Taira or something like that. But it was a dog fight. Yeah, it was a dog fight. Yeah. Shout out to the guy from Japan. He was absolutely a dog, man. He was getting beat up for a long time, came back on multiple occasions, but then eventually ended up getting finished. But iGrow Fighting, you called that one nice. I didn't think he was going to squeak out that W, but let's be real, man. Sean Strickland did not put on that good of a performance. It was literally, I think he landed 100 significant strikes and 95 of them were jabs.
So it's like that, huh?
Yeah. It wasn't anything spectacular. What are we going to do about Tesla here, ladies and gentlemen? I mean, we have TSLL up 5%, so 2.5 on Tesla.
There's no red candles on the 5, man.
No. There is. I mean, in the past hour, no.
Yes.
Yeah, in the past hour since 10:45, this thing has been absolutely parabolic and off to the races. I was thinking long on it earlier, right? Throughout off of this bounce, didn't get it. Had to be a little bit more patient, but it did give you the opportunity to reload right at VWAP. I'm sitting in this DRAM trade to see if it's going to get going here. We do have some lower highs that are slowly working for us. So we'll hold on to this. It might be a little bit more of a grind. And I do have to take in the fact that we've already been on a big time run, and just the continuous buy day after day might come to somewhat of a cooling. So watch out for that day where we do flush. I don't know if it's going to be today, but as long as Micron and Samsung and SanDisk continue to slowly bid up, then I think we'll be sitting in a pretty good position. You can see we do have a resistance zone at 55.40 that we have to keep an eye out on. So, but yeah, other than that,
what the hell is silver doing, dude?
Yeah, silver's up.
I thought you'd be all over that because you're above that ZSLA.
I tried it once. I took a stab on it once, and I was just too early on their entry, and I'm like,
that looks like an inverse head. Bring that back. Is that?
So
you see a bit of it. Yeah, I know. But go to the right. A little inverse head and shoulder.
I see shoulder one, shoulder two, head, right? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And that's typically a bullish pattern. And it's unfortunate that we didn't get the continuation. We're now at the high of the day. Should have been more patient on this one. But I'm like, if we're going to be super strong, then maybe we get that bounce before the volume weighted average price. There was a 5-minute indecision candle right here that I was looking to go long off of, but then I'm bottom wick, and then it decides to climb a little bit higher. So that's why I didn't really re-engage. DRAM slowly working out for us. We'll hold on to this. It's by far, nothing really to clap about. I mean, we'll take a treat, but it's definitely my smallest position here on the day. Took a couple losses out of the gate, and I'm like, you know what? Let's chill out.
At ease.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, I discovered, you know, I feel like embarrassed saying this because probably a lot of people know about her. But do you know about this country singer called Ella Langley?
No.
No? Kind of discovered, I found her on TikTok.
You like her?
Yeah, man, some good music. I like country music. And so when I discover a new artist, to me, it's like, okay, you kind of go through the discography, see what bangers they have out there.
Yeah.
But yes, shout out to Cheers Love. Okay, I got it. L Take, says Jesse Martinez. All right, I'll take that as well, man. Maybe it can't be for everybody. Country music rocks, says Long Brady. I love it. Let's get country. Yeah, my PD rider, he gets it. Durant Gordon can't do it, though. I got it. Sharif's a softie, says Hangry Ruff. I'm sorry, bro, but, you know, it's what I like, man. I like country music. I like
You like country music? Yeah, I would say it's definitely my least favorite genre.
Really, eh? No, I like country music. I like it.
But see, the thing is, though, there's nothing like driving up in Canadian cottage country just pumping some classic rock. You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And you were from outside the city. You grew up outside the city, so you're all about that life.
I'm all about that life.
There you
I
go.
wasn't when I was younger, but then I grew into
a little bit different now that you're older, huh? Yeah. Doing the two-step with those guns. Shout out to Lemon Family, man. I can't two-step, man. I'll learn though. Check out Jesta James. Hold on.
Yeah, that's
Jesta James. Wait a minute, man. Let me type it in here, Joey. Jesta James. All right, I got that right there. Double S. Okay, I see. Yeah, country music.
I like it.
Follow.
There's a couple good tracks. I can't deny that fact.
Country music?
Yeah, like those nice slow tunes.
And she has one with Morgan Wallen as well, which kind of just makes sense a little bit there, but good country music. No, it's okay, angry wife. I mean, you can say what you want. I mean, I already know you, right? If you were a noob in the chat and you took shots at me, it'd be a little bit different. But if you're an OG, and I kind of know you're joking.
Hangry is always a positive one.
Yeah, exactly. All right, continuing to watch here, Poet, guys. It's not giving up the ghost at all. It's a lot closer to the highs than, you know, anywhere else. 10 EMA, the $quarter dollar, the whole dollar. So I'm very much watching. We have lower highs here on Poet, but we've got some higher lows as well. So a bit of a compression pattern from the side view. Let's see what this one does. If I had to guess, it feels like it's going to fail the half dollar. It's had a lot of support at the half dollar, and here it is again. There's buying here. There's posted buying on the exchange, on the gateways, as well as hidden buying at that half dollar-ish area. Talking about 51, 52, 49, that general half dollar area here on Poet. So my guess is, and that's all that it is that it fails. And if it does fail, I'm looking at 13 and a quarter, and I'm looking at 13. Now, having said that, my observation lately with some of these small cap gappers is the money fills is kind of in between the 10 and the 20 moving average exponential on the 5-minute chart. If it ends up being that way and it gives me that kind of in between area support between the 10 and the 20, we'll get involved. But right now, there's certainly a buyer keeping this one abreast above the half dollar, whether or not they've got enough shares and conviction to maintain that sort of half dollar defend. We'll wait and see. I'm also keeping a close eye on GSIT, he says, without even having it up on a screen. GSIT, because it just dropped from $12 again. So that's the second failed attempt to cleanly take $12. We did make a new high though. Prior high was 12.08, now it's 12.10. It loses the 10 moving average on the 5, and it is now right around the 20 moving average on the 5 and around that half dollar. It's kind of showing me a little bit of buying now, but I want to see, does it hold this area? Mosey on up above the half dollar, close above the half dollar on the 5-minute candle, or does it move it down into 11 and a quarter? And that's not just the $quarter dollar, it also happens to be VWAP. So GSIT in focus for me here. This one is a little bit more spready than some of the ones we've been trading. Right now it's decent, it's about 6 or 7 pennies, but I've seen it as wide as 15. That needs to factor into your risk assessment and when you're trading this one. So GSIT in focus, keeping an eye on PRSO. So it did breach the 10 EMA on the 5, which pushed me out of the trade. But here it is again. again, this current candle, the 1140 candle, has a higher low relative to the 1135 candle, and now it just took it out on a higher high basis, okay? So we're gonna get involved here, and we're gonna give it to prior bar low. Prior bar low takes us down to 134.5. Now that's the way it goes. So we're gonna go 134. We'll go 133 just for you know what in giggles, and we'll see if we can retest that $0.50. Recall, the prior rejection was 149. So remember what I was telling you? It's a general area of the $0.50. Sometimes it doesn't quite make it up there. We'll see if this one can and whether it takes it out decisively. Vader was framed. Check out NOK. What's Nokia up to today? Let's take a quick look.
Nokia's been on a big run.
Yeah, man. I was watching an interesting story about Vader. Remember Big Van Vader? No, the wrestler, Big Van Vader?
No, I don't.
He was in WCW for a bit, then he came to WWE. Interesting kind of development with him. He didn't really like to be told how to wrestle or how to do anything, and he didn't like to do like the previews and the interviews and stuff like that. So there was, who remembers the wonderful Paul Orndorff? So he had some nerve damage in his hand. He had to retire from wrestling. So they gave him like an executive position where he would like basically run the show behind the scenes. So he's telling Vader, he's like, hey man, you got to go do an interview, right? Like you're on right now. He's like, I'll get up in a minute. And then he doesn't go. So essentially Orndorff goes, he's like, get your ass and go do the interview, and then they ended up trading hands, and Orndorff dropped Vader. Who would have thought that, with bad hand and all? Vader's like 3 times the size of Orndorff, but any event. So a little interesting story from the world of wrestling. We're gonna pause for a second. We're gonna go to Adair.
We have oil moving to the upside. President Trump just said that the ceasefire has, quote, a 1% chance of living, that it's on life support, and that it is weak. So sounds like the chance of this ceasefire lasting pretty thin, according to U.S. President Trump. He also called the Iranian response to their latest proposal, quote, stupid, and that Iran didn't commit to not having a nuclear weapon, which is why the proposal was deemed unacceptable. During the question period of this event on maternal health, President Trump is talking a lot about Iran. This is the first move in oil we've had, though, on this. Again, on President Trump saying the ceasefire is weak. Back to you.
Yeah, it was interesting to see what the Iranians were kind of insisting, that they want to maintain their nuclear program. It's kind of not on the table, as well as they want basically authority over the Strait of Hormuz. Who in their right mind would grant them that, seeing how they've been kind of blocking the whole thing for a couple of months now? Like, which country would agree to that?
No one would, really, to be honest with you. So, I mean, hey, but when it comes to negotiation, Shreve, you know you got to aim high, man. Just
aim high, Willis.
Yeah, exactly. Aim high. Plenty of ops to come still. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying we had too many oppositions coming our way. But yeah, you'll get it back. No, I mean we're chilling, man. We'll see what we got. Tesla's been absolutely parabolic here today. We're still sitting in this DRAM trade. There's gonna be plenty. It's a long week too. Couple weeks until Memorial Day. It's the 24th, right? So yeah, okay, all right. The Monday, I think.
Man, my birthday falls on Memorial Day this week.
It's 24th, right?
My birthday's the 25th, and Memorial Day is on Monday, so it's the 25th. So I literally have my birthday off because we have the Monday the 25th off because it's Memorial Day. The market's closed.
Oh yeah. Sunday is the 24th. Yeah. Okay,
so it's Victoria Day. I just love how Victoria Day is on the 24th, but they give us the 18th off. It makes sense, Joey.
Well, we don't get that day off, my boy.
No, we don't get it, but Canadian employees do, yes. Poet's about to take out 14, guys. Here we go. I feel like Fabrizio Romano. Anybody in the chat get that? Here we go.
His birthday this year? No, not cool.
Oh, that's crazy.
No,
that's crazy.
No bets leading into.
I just can't believe it hit 125 on your birthday. Yeah, that to me is going to be the. How did that even happen?
Man, that's how you know it's a pure simulation. $46 here in Bitcoin as it breaks through, IBIT, as it punches through the volume weighted average price and then puts in a new high of the day. So not too bad there, guys. A nice strong recovery we're seeing in this specific asset. We like this. I mean, off those lows, you get $37. You're up 30% off of that level. But we're still down quite a bit off of the all-time high, right? Still 37%, slightly comical. I heard Sean saying, I tend to agree a little bit, aside from the fact, One thing that I think we need to keep in the back of our mind is that it's not popular right now, right? But what happens when it starts trading again? We tend to kick things when they're down and say, yeah, who even wants this when they're not performing that well and the overall market is. But it's like at the beginning of the year, there's only a couple of us that picked chip names because we thought the chip trade was starting to come to a cool, and we were just worried about the CapEx spend, but then it's just right back in play. And I think that's going to be the narrative, is that some things in high-quality products, not saying that Bitcoin is, they tend to get forgotten about, and they're like, yeah, who really wants it, until everybody wants it again, and it's that cool toy. And I think that might be the narrative here. I don't think Saylor and some of the larger institutions would be creating and constructing their own ETFs, have the best ETF launch of all time, and then it just be totally forgotten about 2 years later. I don't think that's the case. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin does hit all-time highs before the new halving cycle, before the next halving cycle. If not, then by all means, it is what it is. Maybe it's not what we think it is, and maybe people don't love it as much as we thought they would. So only time will tell, but I think in the long run, Bitcoin will be just fine.
Trump says Republicans should abandon midterm elections. What does that even mean? What is he saying over there?
I like that Elon Musk thing.
What is this guy? Why is he saying that for?
I like that Elon Musk X that you sent me.
Yeah. Elon, I don't know what Elon was on the weekend, but anybody who viewed some of the tweets or whatever, the X's that he put on the weekend, was like, okay, Elon.
Did he delete that post?
No, he didn't. And I mean, I have a screenshot of it, so even if he does, but
I think at the...
it's ripping. Go ahead, Joey.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we're still in DRAM. This thing's continuing to climb. But I mentioned this the other day. As soon as you hit an X amount of money in your bank account, who cares what everybody else thinks? And I think he's either...
Bro, he's a public company CEO.
I don't know why he said no tax when he's like, dude,
he paid the most in the history.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
What did he say? He paid $15.8 billion in taxes
something
last
like
year?
That. So I didn't understand that part, but the rest I can get behind. But other than that, I don't know why he said no tax. And it's like, bro, you paid the most tax out of anybody on.
Well, I think he aspires to pay for no tax, but whether that's going to happen or not.
Yeah, obviously that. Well, in what?
Guys, if you want to know what Joey and I are referring to, probably can't show you on the show, obviously, but you can go and view it for yourself on X. Just go. I think it was like was it a Saturday post or a Friday post? Something like that. But he is he deleted it, Jesse?
Did he?
No way!
Why
what a
did he
shock!
Do that, man.
That's
hilarious. All ramped up.
He was on something.
Yeah, he was on something
right?
He was having a good time.
It had 500,000 likes though, right? So there's that.
Forget, man.
All right, man. Here we go. We're keeping an eye here on Poet, topping tail candle into 14.18, coming back down into 14. I want to keep a close eye on this one. I'm also really running out of room for PRSO. Full disclosure, we're like in a fraction of the shares that we were in on PRSO. Just kind of to ride it through the $0.50. It's not doing that. It's holding higher low. So if it loses 135, I'm out. Really that simple, okay? But what I'm watching right now is if Poet has the juice to keep this above 14. So we did get that big price spike up, topping tail-ish candle forming right now on the 5 with a 14.18 high, coming down in 14.04. But it seems like it's holding up here. So let's a lot of bottoming tails candles on the 1 as well. Are these actual real wicks? Because I'm not seeing that price action on my black charts. Let's flip to the 1. Oh, I probably shouldn't do that because then it's going to spaz out. Yeah, all right. Well, we're going to give Poet another try here. If it wants to hold up above 14, gives me about 12, 15 pennies worth of risk from what we're currently showing. I just want to flip to Poet on the 5-second chart over here, get a better idea of where the support and resistance is. Let's see if we can get a better look at that. It's just taking a long time to load, as are all the charts today, so that's going to cause me a bit of a problem here. Sorry, give me 1 sec just to kind of wait for the 5-second chart to load up. It keeps finding support in the 14 single digits. We're going to give this one the old college trial. We're going to give it with a lot less shares. Let's give it to about 13.96 or so. See if it wants to stop out there or what the situation is going to be with this one. But what do we got? We got 12s. I'll keep an eye on this one. I'm looking for maybe a move into the $0.25. If it loses 14, 13.96, we're out on this one. I'm also keeping a close eye on GSIT. This one's starting to look like it may be finding a bit of a price floor here with an 1140 low. So I'm going to send it to you, Joey, just because I want to throw in a bigger order here on GSIT.
Shout. There goes DRAM all the way to the top side. We like that. Dude, he can't reach the top shelf. He will. Okay, I don't know what Agro said. But yeah, I already gave you credit where credit is due. I know this is totally off topic, Agro. But yeah, good call out on the Sean Strickland W. Here we are in silver. I mean, new high of the day up to $77. And considering I did put a little bit more cash in my long-term account, and I was telling you guys that I literally can't remove anything. So whatever is locked in there is locked in there until I hit a certain age.
Oh,
so,
that's sick.
Yeah, I can. It's a lira.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were mentioning that last week, but I was just kind of not in the concentrating mood last week.
Yeah, it's a lira.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so every time I deposit, it's just boom. It's in there, right? Unless I lose it, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So there's a bunch of things that I'm going to be looking to allocate here throughout the coming months. We're going to grab some silver and gold for the long term, and we're going to grab a couple more tech names. We're in some banks and Walmart. We got our staple, but I think for the foreseeable future, for the next couple of years, we're going to see this tech trade. As long as these hyperscalers continue to spend, and even when they stop spending, what are the ROIs on all of this CapEx? Like we know Amazon and on all the hyperscalers, they're not just spending this money to spend it. They're going to see the money start to come back. We know that their free cash flow, Amazon just essentially using up 95% of it. But what happens when they become cash heavy once again? And that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. Even with this CapEx, with all the money that they're spending, it has to fall funnel to somewhere. I was listening to the All In, and I know you were listening to that one. Dude, what was up with the start of that one?
Which one?
The Grok,
last week or the week before?
The week before. The Anthropic AI Grok, the one that they were talking about, and Sam Altman. What was up with the start of that?
Remind me. I'm forgetting a little bit here.
They were just talking about, I forget who it was, his favorite podcast, and people's names.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on here?
Calcanis?
I had to make sure.
I don't know, bro.
I had to make sure that I was listening to the right thing, and I'm like, okay, all right, finally, when they started to get
is
but I thought it was funny. Anyways, so essentially what I'm getting at here is this trade, I believe, is going to go on for the next couple of years. Once the spending starts to cool down, then you're going to see even more cash on hand for some of these names. Surprisingly so I was just listening to what they had to say on some of the larger players, the OpenAIs, the Anthropics, and the Geminis. Anthropic is still actually at the lower daily or active monthly users and daily active users.
Yeah, but look at the revenue, brother.
The revenue is crazy, but I think what's really huge...
10x'd.
Exactly, and that's what I was about to get at.
What the bad word.
And that's what I was about to get at. They're at like 100 million monthly active users or something along those lines, and OpenAI is at like 300 or 900 billion or something along those, or million, sorry. Anthropic has that room to still grow exponentially because we've already seen that happen in OpenAI, and I think that's why people are really intrigued by it, including myself. And that's what one of the IPO names that I'm going to hold on to some cash to just hold on for the long run because of the enterprise aspect. And Sam Altman, unfortunately, just missing that train as Gemini and Anthropic sign all of these government deals.
You got to see the text messages between Mira Murati and Sam Altman when he got booted by the board, and he was basically using Murati as his in to see what the board was saying, thinking, doing, etc. Just this guy, man, he's becoming less and less of my favorite person. He already showed anyway.
You already showed a bunch of like social media posts like saying.
And you could make the argument that those people were biased, right? But you got to see what some of the people on the Microsoft board were saying when this whole thing happened. Nadella just wanted stability. For all those people that think that Nadella was looking to back him up, Nadella was looking after his own money. All right, they had money in OpenAI that they needed things to calm the hell down. But anyway, we'll get to this in a second because everything's ripping. Poet is absolutely ripping. We're in here at 12. We just wet the beak at 33. Poet's on the move. It's doing things. Watch out here. We could be at the $0.50, quick as you like. We wet the beak basically up from 14. It holds 14 clearly. It is on the move. Let's see if the $0.50 is any major area of resistance. Now, we just got into $0.75 on GSIT. My 1 1R is 83. I'm posting up at 82. It just popped off, I want to say, into 75, dropping back down now into 71. I'm not getting the print here because we are not getting continuation into the 80s. So GSIT, I'm starting to debate whether or not I should be wetting the beak here at these levels. And there it goes into 73, 75 now showing up again. And 79, not far away. It's almost there on the ask. We've basically taken out all the size at 75 and 76. I'm looking for 79s to show up, but it's really going to be 82 that gets me printed. What's an R, Sharif? Great question, Tony. So risk versus reward. So for example, if I'm risking based on my stop loss and my entry level. So for example, GSIT, where am I in? 1159. I'm going to tell you my stop loss just for the purpose of this example. My stop on GSIT is 1135, right? I'm in at 59, meaning what? That my 1-to-1 risk to reward, I'm risking from 1159 to 1135. That means my profit for 1 times risk is $11.83. So when I say 1R, I'm saying 1 times my risk. When I say 2R, it's 2 times my risk. For the sake of example, on GSIT, my 2R is 1207. Okay, whereas my 1R is 1183. So that's kind of what I mean by that, right? And a lot of, you know, the risk to reward analysis here is for prop trading, right? Because you got to basically everything is based up on your risk. So that's kind of what I want to get through there. I hope that made some sense. So we wet the beak there on GSIT, Joey. I'm starting to feel like this one might be a bit top heavy into the $0.75. Also separately here, what's it called? Poet is right back into 10s. We'll take that out break even at 11 for a penny loss. Topping tail candle into 1136, couldn't quite make it up into the $0.50. Last but not least, we're still holding PRSO. We're 3 pennies out of the money on this one. I still like the structure that it's putting in higher lows and still above the 10 EMA on the 5. I'm looking for the $0.50. So that's what we're looking for there. It is now 12 o'clock. And that means we're going to go to Adair for happening now. And then Neil has his lesson of the day.
Oh.
Got an interesting situation here, guys. Market near day's high, specifically talking about the the SPY story, and so is USO. I mean, we've got a lot of talk here coming from U.S. President Trump on the situation with Iran. He's still speaking, by the way, guys. He's been speaking for about an hour. He said that the ceasefire is on life support and it's got a 1% chance of survival, so indicating that the collapse of the ceasefire is very likely. We know he was not satisfied with Iran's counterproposal, something that he repeated a couple times today as well. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. We've looked at the SPY and the USO. Here is NASDAQ. We know this is trading very differently from the SPY earlier today. Now we've got NASDAQ and S&P 500 neck and neck, continuing to push to the upside. Let's talk here about TSN. This name is on watch here. This is not TXN. This is Tyson Foods, TSN, on watch here. As we get Wall Street Journal reporting the Trump administration is going to be allowing more foreign-produced beef at lower tariff rates to temporarily reduce tariffs on beef imports. We know there a while back here, I think in October, President Trump announced he wanted an investigation into the meatpacking industry, so this could be related here. Either way, TSN, not a ton of volume on this. I believe just under 1 million shares last time I checked, but something to keep an eye on. Just seeing news on Amazon here as well, and you can see it spiking to the upside. Anthropic announcing the Claude platform on AWS. So Claude and Amazon Web Services collaboration. We can see Neil dancing, market dancing to the upside as well. Let's talk here, last but not least, updated look at who's visiting China with President Trump. This is latest reports. I haven't posted this yet on X in case it changes again, but last I checked, this is the rundown. You're going to get Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, Brian McInerney, CEO of Visa, Michael Niebach, CEO of MasterCard, Elon Musk, CEO of a whole bunch of companies, Kelly Wardberg, CEO of Boeing, Dina Powell McCormick, former Trump administration member, I believe in Trump 1.0, and also the president and vice chair of Meta. And last but not least, Chuck Robbins of Cisco, who, if this is true, would be visiting China the day his company reports earnings. So kind of a wild take there. If I get more details, I'll let you know. This infographic, again, yet to go out in case I get more changes to this roster. But you can find the old version of this visual with the last roster here on X at TTV Research. But you know what you can find every day around 12 at Trader TV Live? Neil's lesson of the day. So what am I doing talking? You want to hear Neil and his lesson. Neil, what was the lesson? How was the chicken? Tell us more.
Well, I'll get to the lesson in a second. The chicken was delicious. Absolutely. But first off, how are you going to go to China when your company's reporting? Hold up. wait a minute, something ain't right, Mr. Robbins. Aren't you supposed to be on a conference call? Aren't you supposed to be telling investors why Cisco is? That's just weird to me when I see that. Anyways, it doesn't really make a difference. So the lesson of the day, if I'm talking about anything that I traded today, then I'm just going to be going over a bunch of mean reversions that all worked out pretty well. So the question I want to posit is, what is better than a rainbow? A double rainbow, which we all know if you're old enough. What's better than a breakout? A double breakout. See, it's a very simple concept that I'm just making it up today because of something we saw on Friday, and then again today when I was discussing NVTS with a trader in the pre-market. So what the heck is a double breakout? Well, it's about as boring as it sounds. It's simply a stock in an upward trajectory, which has a local breakout setup, which is, let's just say, bolstered by a second breakout level. Like there's two places where traders are looking break long, where shorters are looking, oh my goodness, we're getting screwed, let's get out of here. Rocket Lab did this on Friday. Not that hard to point out the 86.7 that we had on our note in the morning. That would be, a prior high. It also goes back to, I think this would be like the 23rd. So you have that breakout looming in there for what is like your standard sort of level break. You got prior day resistance, which lines up with another level. Then you have also this lower high that got put on the daily chart, which sets up for another level. So it's got room and then break, and then it got room to the high, and then you could call it a triple if you wanted to. I left it at double because I wanted to talk about NVTS. And what it gives you is, it's almost like if anyone's ever seen the movie The Core. So anyways, it's a science fiction. I'm not spoiling it. If you've never seen the movie, it is so old that don't at me that I'm spoiling the movie for you. But one of the things that they have to do to basically save the world is a series of explosions where one explosion basically gets a chain reaction started, and the next one, which bolsters the strength of the move. And that's what you get in this particular case. You get the 86.7 break, then you get 92 breaking out on the daily chart, and then you have the high on the effectively the all-time high breaking out. So then you get all of these multitudes of levels where you've got other stops and other long entries adding fuel to the fire of your original break. And that's what can give you that bigger outsized move. And the reason, and now this is something that I'm going to start looking at in the repertoire and start giving breakouts of this ilk just more love. And why do they need more love? Because they get more upside for you. So Navitas would be the example of one here where it's the same as Rocket Lab. You have a local prior day high break, right? So consolidation, prior day high break. It also goes back resistance. So you go back a couple weeks, you find other resistance levels confluencing that breakout. You then go back a little bit further. So there's one break. There's your next break at 19.8. So you look for your acceleration through there. And again, it's all in that initial candle on the 15. Like you're breaking one, and it's taking you clean through the other where you get more acceleration. And really what it comes down to, like any breakout trade, typically they have like certain rules. Like you might just break out the top, give it to the pre-market low, give it back to VWAP. Usually it's something along those lines that most traders are going to be interested in. But the other side of the equation is how far can it go? And if in this particular case off the open, you're just being given more juice because there's a second stop out level, which is giving the opportunity for more shorts to get stopped out, for more longs to join, and that's where you get that confluence and that crazy breakup that you saw in both Rocket Lab and NVTS. So I already told you guys that I pretty much polished off the chicken. It was delicious. Unfortunately, though, Shauna, you can see the plate. Like he can actually show you the food because I already ate it. Yeah, it's hard to. So usually we get like a drumstick, but this was just all like breaded chicken breast. So you got a good I got 3 solid pieces of meat. It was pretty delicious. The salad was solid. The only downside is because I'm on that no cheese lunch. Oh yeah. I didn't get the mac and cheese.
There's lots left.
Yes, but I can go grab some if I want. So I'll probably go grab some a little bit later. But yeah, absolutely great lunch. Check out those double breakers if you see one. Good one on Navitas. Good one there on Friday. Why are we hitting the fail? All right, it's like that. Why are we hitting the fail? You failing on the lunch? You hating on the lunch, Joe? Okay.
Yes, yeah, it was Joe.
I'm.
Not me.
It was Joe.
just say it was no, even though I have
that's
no idea
crazy.
if it was. So somebody's hating on
mean.
somebody's hating on this lunch. I don't know what it is, but it was.
Neil, if I told you I didn't do something, I would hope that you believe me if I
Oh.
If you can't tell we're just having fun, Joe, come on, son. Come on, son. Nah, it was probably, I can't tell. It was probably Fabian. But I'm just looking over there like,
This is fantastic.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on here.
What?
Who is the individual who hates the carbohydrates in the?
What happened to you been
I can't
narking on
see Sharif's
people?
hand.
I thought you don't narc on people.
I didn't narc on anybody.
Yeah, right, my guy. Unreal. Yeah,
Was it you,
me.
Sharif?
It was me, Neil. Neil, can I say something? I actually do like the taste of the fried chicken. It's fantastic. There's really no arguing that. You'd be a stone cold liar if you said those didn't taste good.
Okay, then.
It's just a little oily, Neil. That's all I'm saying. It's a
It
little
doesn't have to
oily.
be good for you.
I had a bit. I
You
feel
just
like
got to
it was a
enjoy it
little
sometimes.
undercooked.
Enjoy yourself. All right, Suzette.
Thank you, Neil, for the lesson of the day. Fantastic as always, Neil Roberts, baby, at that noon hour. Joey.
Yeah.
There goes GSIT right back into $12, guys. What do we got on? We got 59s. This is the problem, though. Every attempt, stop, I'm trying to analyze. Every attempt on the day to breach 12 on a closing basis has failed. I'm talking about the topping tail candle or the top wick, 10:15, fail. We're going to do it again, 11:30, fail. And here we are again, hitting $12 and failing to even wick above it. So keep the lookout here. There's a seller at 12. They've been there all day. Whether or not we get through it this time around, we'll have to wait and see. We're showing 99s. What are they saying now? Here's 12. We can't even show 1201s on the time and sales. Let's see what kind of resistance we're expecting here. We're going to see, not expecting, we're already expecting it. At $12, I'm packing the patience. We've done a good amount of volume here, and the spread's tightened up to 2 pennies on GSIT. 8.37 million shares have exchanged hands on the day, and it's been very respectful of trend. You got a wick off VWAP. I think that was the money fill for anybody involved in this name. That came in at 10:30. If you're holding it from there, good on you guys. We're going to keep an eye out on this one. And PRSO, we're still holding here. We're a penny out of the money. We got 43 and a half, so it's showing me 42. Here's 43 again, so now we're half a penny off the money. And I'm looking for a bigger move up. We know there's resistance at 45. And there's a staunchy seller at 45 when you view it on the 5-minute chart, even though the high of the day is 49. Well, why am I talking about 45 then? Well, because we've had no closing prints, believe it or not, above that $1.45 intraday. So I do like the higher lows. I do like the respect for the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I don't like the fact that we can't print anything above 45 right now. So that is what I'm keeping a close eye on. We are above $12 now on GSIT into 05s. The high of the day is 10. I'm looking for a beak wetter at 7. There's no continuation, and the spread is opening up. To be expected, though, when you get into these areas of technical resistance, the spread does open up. The bid drops off, the ask pops up, and here we are. We're showing 04s. I'm looking for a 7 print. That means that it'll have to move above 7 on the bid, and there it goes, Joey, into 1209. We get the print. We're looking for a little bit more. Let's see if this one can work up above 1210. That's first and foremost. And then the second thing is, can it have a 5-minute closing print above $12? So far, we can't. I'm posting at 18 next. Let's see if we can get that move. 12.15 now, Joey. That is a new high a day on GSIT. We're packing the patience, and there it goes into $1/5 of a dollar. I know you get hyped up. Here we go, baby. GSIT's on the move. 12.21, 12.26. Oh no, it's gonna go to the $1/3 of a dollar. Let's go here, GSIT guys. We're looking for half here. Let's go for the $1/2 now. This could be the first 5-minute closing print on the day. Who knows? Oh my Lanta.
Yeah.
Speaking of Atlanta, shout out to Nicole Harris, who is from Hotlanta.
But it says Nicole Vada.
Yeah, well, her name is Nicole Harris.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she's an OG.
Okay.
All right, shout out to Nicole. That's what I'm talking about, Esposito. A longtime viewer and a good friend of the show, Nicole Harris. Shout out, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Joey, this is all your life right here. IBIT options, MARA, Tesla, and SPY options today. LFG. Love this team. We love you. Thank you very much, Nicole, for the $5 super chat. OG of the show. And now we're going to have to send you to
Are
a
we
dare
going
at the
up there?
big
Am I
desk.
not tapped in or something?
Are we not going?
Anything? I didn't hear anything.
Oh, didn't you say something on Citi? No, my mistake.
No, you said super chat.
My mistake. Super
All right,
chat. I got you.
Let's break down some Bitcoin here, man. We got the jitter juice rolling, man. We're
the
doing
jitter juice?
Yeah, we got a lot going on.
How much jitter juice you got over there, Joey?
I got one of these, but listen, I wasn't feeling good at all yesterday.
Numero, how many is that?
This is, well, I never completed one, so maybe, like, I just keep reloading
That's a third,
a little bit.
That's a third?
It's 2.5. We'll call
Third,
it.
2.5. You see this?
Yeah, we'll call it 2.5. But I thought I was gonna have to go to hospital on Sunday morning.
Some great
all right,
noises here,
45.80, guys. Big time breakout now. Bitcoin off to the races, 46.32. The long term is going to be liking this one as Bitcoin continuing to climb. And I've mentioned this time and time again. I'm still waiting for that session. Like, look how minuscule and how like raggedy Ann, is that even the right term? But
Yeah,
I'm just,
pretty
like,
sure it is, bro.
I just feel like that we need that strong day where we climb like $5 or $6. I mean, here we are 48.80. That's not even really that strong. It's like $2 over here. But if we go back into the past of Bitcoin, we know we can put in a 10% day. So I'm just being patient and waiting for that one where a bunch of shorts are going to get squeezed. But we also have to keep an eye out on this 47, we'll call it $48 flat level, which we're heading in towards right now, okay? I think there's going to be a trade to be had within this neck of the woods and within this technical setup here is that we break through the resistance and then we come back into the middle of the range and then even a break of this $55 pivot. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves on it, but just game planning for the future, and that's going to be one of the setups I have on IBIT. If this trend breaks to the downside, I don't like that whatsoever. Hopefully it can recover relatively quick, and that will determine some of the strength within Bitcoin itself, right? So if it happens to fail the trend and you see it have a couple of selling days, but what is it like following that? And what am I going to use as a potential example here? On NVDA, we had a nice breakout, and then you had some pretty weak sessions following, but when you recover strong and then print new all-time highs. So up to $221.72 here. On NVDA, we had a 222 high, and we like that. The only Mag 7 that is more than 10% off of the all-time high, you guessed it, is META. Getting absolutely slacked. The rest of them, need I say, they're either at or around the all-time high within a couple of percentage points. Obviously, Tesla's still down about 10 or 11%. So 24% off of that all-time high, right? Broadcom, it's there. We don't even have to do a percentage metric. We'll do it on Tesla because look at this. It's like 4 up days in a row. So really strong PA to the point where you're only down 11%. Amazon, I mean, we can ramble on about that. 2.5%. So that's one session in Amazon. Oh, and Microsoft. So it's Meta and Microsoft. It starts with an M. It's not that good, apparently, these days, Sharif. And then down 25%. So
except Marvell, Katina
whoa.
Let's not forget about Marvell, baby.
My bad.
It's up 103% year to date.
Yeah, I know. How could I forget? Anyways, money on for the Marvells there. But yeah, Microsoft and Meta not performing. We're having DRAM start to come back in a little bit. And someone asked me.
Ask me outside.
Yeah. Is this, before I send it back to you, Sharif, I want to pull up our portfolio here, our stock portfolio tracker to see where your boy, Ramin.
She number uno?
No. She's up 5%. How did she just gain ground like that? It was
which one, RKLB? Which one she have?
It's one of those two.
Yeah.
Sharif, you're falling down to that 10th spot there, my boy.
I'm really bad, bro.
Sean up 108%. Big Bear AI down 32%. Obi down 57% in the circle short. I think Sean already classified him as liquidated on that one there. But what
he would have been margin called.
Yeah.
He would have been like,
you're done.
Put some more money or we're closing your position, baby.
It's done. IREN was up huge for Brendo, but then we had Walmart that was up 10%. But what do we have here is Rocket Lab for Ramin up 36%. Oh, wow, just moving fast and furious. And we have Netflix down 3% for and AST Space Mobile. Watch out. I think Ramin's a sleeper pick here.
Yo, bro. Now, Ram's clearly got it going on. Ram, can you hear me? No, she's got her headphones on. I want to know if she actually owns it. That'd be some money printing there. All right, guys, we're continuing to watch PRSO. There it is in the 46, and there's the print. We got 44s on. We're looking for the retaking of that high of the day, which is 49. Second trade into this. Let's see if we can get through that $0.50 or what the situation is going to be. Keeping a close eye here on PRSO. Look, Poet's pulling back. It's GSIT and PRSO. It's their world right now. We're living in it, right? So let's see if we can get something on the door of the $0.50. We're going to post at 49 and see what's up with that. Poet, by the way, I don't want to speak badly here about Poet, but I mean it's certainly seen a better day, or seen better levels on the day. But I do really like this level here. Look at this area of previous resistance, essentially 1375 to 1380. You could say the area resistance. Now, the good part about this news is we're holding up right at the 10, EMA on the 5, and it's overlapping with that former area of resistance. So I want to see, we don't have to be first to this trade, right? We have a 1436 high, and if your bias is we take out that level, we're probably going to 415, maybe 15. 450 to 15. So I want the first 5-minute candle to come in, make a new high, close green, and then we'll get involved with Poet. But for the moment, just going to steer clear of this one and see exactly what it does. I don't need to be first. Let's get to the super chats. There's a couple here. Thank you, Carl Art EJ7, dropping £2 in the chat. Thoughts on ISRG at current price? You both rock. No, you rock.
No.
Shut out. Let's just look at quickly here the levels on ISRG, and then we're going to throw it to Adara. ISRG, let's just take a quick look at the daily. Okay, so this is the 5-minute. It doesn't look good. This is the daily. It looks like it's right at that. It's losing resistance. It's losing support, pardon me. This is trouble because you're below that 430 level, right? That 430 level was a staunchy area of support, essentially from September of last year to that big breakout in late October. Now, you do have levels below that. That was the tariff tantrum in April of 25, the low of which was around $400. So you could be back on the way to 400 here. And then that 400 is also a key area of technical resistance. Take a look at the resistance from late January of 24 to when we broke out above that level in May of 24. So 400, a key area of resistance, but you are below local area lows at 430. I'd say watch out. You don't know exactly whether this one is going to retrace back above 430. There's a rule here I want to bring your attention to. It's the 3-period rule or the 3% rule. If you're charting on the day, on the daily, the 3-period rule is 3 days. So you would need 3 straight days of closing below that 430. Or if you're charting on the weekly, you need 3 straight weeks closing below 430. That's the 3-period rule. The 3% rule is if you're below that key area of technical support by more than 3% on a closing basis. So that the area again would be 430. See where this one closes. If it's below 3%, you might have a bit more to the downside. Thank you for that super chat, Carl Art. We're going to get to the other one when we get back from Adara.
But I hear on GM, this is at day's lows. Not a massive move on this, but I think it's worth mentioning the story. We know earlier today we had reports that GM is going to be paying $12.75 million to settle this California lawsuit. Here's a completely unrelated story that I want to mention here. GM reportedly cutting hundreds of white-collar workers in an effort to trim costs. Again, hundreds of workers, probably not massive for GM. They are at day's lows. I wanted to mention here for you guys. Again, GM layoffs, back to you.
Much for that. And Let Us Go TV. Drop him 5 in the chat. We're going to thank him for that. However, he's coming at us here. Hey, team. Let's hold off on the renovations until after market close. LMAO. I mean, yes, ideally. But, logistics are what they are. Some people are just not available during that time. But, yeah hopefully, I don't think there should be too much going on. I see Mark's giggling, so there could be some more noise.
Hit the drill, Mark.
Yeah, well.
It's a cue the drill.
Nah, it shouldn't be too bad, Joey.
All right. So here we go. Another $5 super chat.
Oh,
how much you lose on Chimaev, Joe? Any advice on getting started futures? That's crazy. So you chirp me and then you ask for advice after. What a what a way. I didn't bet on the fight, to be honest with you. I couldn't figure anything. I didn't like it. I was gonna take Hamzat money line, but I didn't end up taking it because it wasn't paying. It was the Strickland was definitely the pick there, plus 300. Any advice on getting started futures? I'm not a futures trader, but if you're going to be referring to like the NASDAQ and stuff, I trade the TQQs really. So I think that's I'm the wrong person to ask on getting started within futures trading. You have the micro and the mini. Each point is worth different, $25 and $50 respectively. And I mean, there's a lot of commodities that you can trade, obviously, with that. But I personally never traded the futures. I don't know about you, Sharif.
I have. My suggestion is, just for the sake of your account, because the futures are so levered. Like I really do mean, like even the MNQ, the MES, a point move up is like $5, right? Plus or minus. My suggestion to you would be start on. I know these are not strictly futures. I get that. Some people don't like calling the TQQQ futures, the Qs or the SQs or the SPY or any of the other derivatives. I would say start with those derivatives, right? The Qs, the TQs. And then if you've got a feel for the levels and you kind of, you've got the idea right there for futures trading, then go ahead, try your hand maybe at the micro E-mini, get into the actual futures contracts. Personally, I would just say how I would start. I would start through these levered ETFs and then, or not even levered, perhaps just the triple Qs or the SPY. And then work your way into the actual.
Get used to the price. I mean, yeah, I could see that makes sense, Sharif.
Yeah, the micro or the mini, absolutely. Queen
$40.
Lisa, I don't know how to say your name, but you're absolutely right there. Guys, go ahead. You want?
Yeah. Let me talk about what we got going on here right now. We have DRAM. We're all out of that one at the break, even a little bit more. It trailed stop on that one, but we took some profits off at the highs. Never top ticked that one as it continued to climb. But then as soon as it broke this support level, I'm like, you know what? If it continues to slide, let's get out. And I also am short a little bit of TSLL right now to see if we can get a little somewhat of a reversion. If it breaks this previous pivot high, then I'm out. And then I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to climb. What we can look at is some of these secondary trends right here. So there is a lower or higher low right there, but we do have a lower high, which essentially is what I'm basing my trade off. So this wedge, which direction is it going to go? It might be continuation to the top side, right? So I have to be prepared to get out at the break of this pivot, and then we look to see what we can do from there. Small size on this TSLL short. I know a lot of people in the chat are saying Bitcoin and Robinhood are going off. Yes, they are. Here's Robinhood. Yeah, I think this Tesla short not going to work out today. I'm only going to take one more stab on that. I'm not going to be going against something that's going to be grinding higher and higher and higher. We want to make things as easy as we possibly can in life, and there's no need for me to be trying to continuously short something that has just been grinding higher all day. Just doesn't make sense to me in my head. Now, here it is on Robinhood, up to almost $80 here, a high. So that's not too bad of a look, a nice recovery. I was looking at it from a daily perspective to see what we got going on, a nice little uptick, but on the grand scheme of things, you are still down 50+% off of that, 48 to be exact there, off of that previous pivot high. FinTech not really in play, but maybe we're seeing somewhat of a rotation. How are the banks been performing? JPM, one of my most recent buys here, are adding into the position, not performing relatively well. Now moving forward, let's take a look at Bitcoin once again via IBIT, as it's now printing 46.37s. Let's go. What was our previous pivot high right there? 46.52. Yeah, it's moving good today. We had it on our radar. It's unfortunate that we didn't participate in this nice little rally, but it is what it is, right? Like Gucci Man once said, miss a bus. Anyway, I butchered that one. Moving forward, CrowdStrike. I butchered that one big time.
Bro, they're all moving.
They're all moving.
They're Pan W piece of.
What is? Why are you calling it a piece?
Because, bro, I was telling Brendo this last week. I didn't realize how much Pan W I had.
How do you not realize that?
Because I was dollar cost averaging and I was throwing orders at technical levels.
Oh, and then you got filled at you. Oh, you never,
I was putting them out on technical levels.
You had the GTCs out?
No, I just, I try to take the subjectivity, as you and I have talked about. So I just throw out orders, resting orders.
Like good till cancel orders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That fill outside our regular trading hours as well, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't realize how much of this I have. So I'm going to have to de-lever here, as we're pretty close to all-time highs again on that hot garbage. It's ripping.
Go to the daily on this thing.
It's 220-ish, I think, all-time highs on the dub. Yeah, just throw it.
I mean, if you were,
I'm pretty sure it's 220. I could be wrong on that, but double check for me. Go back. Yeah, zoom out.
Yeah.
It's 225. 225. Yeah. So
and the way that
close,
you're moving, I mean, man, that's not too bad. Like, I mean, yeah, hey.
Yeah, dude. And the thing is, man. Man, that was a tough trade. Basically, having to deal with that 225. Yeah, it couldn't catch a bid for its life. And then Anthropic would come out every day with all these, you know, Mythos this, Mythos crap that, and it was just, oh my days. Anyway. It's not hard garbage, bull bear signals, YT. I mean, I say that exaggerating, of course. I was just annoyed by the fact that I had to take so much off the top. But the point was, I didn't realize how much I had of this thing. So I've got to delever here. That's the point of the whole thing.
I hate saying these things, but it's just truly how I feel. When are we expecting this Anthropic IPO?
Okay, dude, this Anthropic IPO could be deadly. And I want to, okay, you brought...
In a good way or a bad way?
Yes. They're 10Xing every freaking year, okay? Now, we're not going to say they're going to 10X this year, but if they 10X this year, they're going to be $1 trillion company.
It's my ticket, man.
Right? Yeah. I'm going to hold the SpaceX IPO because all of a sudden, it's not AWS anymore, it's EWS.
Yeah, I heard you saying
Elon
that this morning.
Web Services.
Yeah.
I'm going with it, baby. He's obviously leasing out a lot of the supercompute that he's built out there in Memphis, and he's got basically 3 big data centers.
So do you think EWS?
He's leasing that out to Anthropic, who doesn't own any of their own data centers, and therefore they're subject to other people's compute, how much they can grow, right? Because they don't have their own data centers.
How did you do that? The real Don D, because I was listening to, are you in Europe? Because he's saying he's long Anthropic on crypto exchange tokenized stock.
Yeah, then
he must be in Europe.
Yeah.
Right? Like you must be in Europe because we can't get that here. Let us know. I'm going to get out of this Tesla trade here momentarily as it breaks higher. But yes, I think it's only a matter of time until we look at EWS as the kind of the Google tech play, right? Like you have SpaceX.
Can I say why I like this though?
Yeah, tell me.
Because remember everybody was crapping on the merger. Why would you take a company that's bleeding money, in this case XAI, obviously, and merge it with a company that's profitable and that's actually making money at SpaceX? And so the idea here was, you know, that one would offset the other. But quite frankly, we didn't really look deep into Elon's vision here. Elon built out all this compute way ahead of schedule. He didn't actually have the demand on Grok to even meet a fraction of the compute that he had. So we were like, what is this guy doing? You know, is he just buying because everybody else wants to buy and he's just trying to get the chips? Well, no, he's actually going to monetize this until XAI actually has its own revenue stream. So I love this. I love it a lot because, you know, we always make fun of Meta. Meta, how come they're not in the cloud business? Well, because they're in advertising. Well, Elon had nothing to do with cloud. All of a sudden, he's a cloud server. He's a cloud provider, so I'm liking it.
I like that, but that's what I'm saying. Like we're gonna have AV, right? Like AV, then you're gonna have the Groks, the SpaceX. So this guy's creating his own little tech.
I love it, dude.
And then if you have Neuralink in there, then it's just like Neuralink. Then it's just like, man. Someone said something interesting, Shave. I'm looking up for it. They said so they're here. And I'm long Anthropic on the crypto exchange tokenized stock, but then I seen them post earlier. Go to TradingView, type in Anthropic USDT, and you will see the tokenized stock perp trading pairs. Like that's the thing. What is a perp trading pair? I don't know what that is. Do you know what that is?
No, but we have ChatGPT, brother. I mean, it's not going to take 2 seconds.
Or do we have what is?
You know, I mean,
what is Anthropic PBC?
PVC, that's probably a public something company. PVC, probably a European. It's just like saying LLC or corp, because they have different corporation structures in Europe, I'm assuming.
What is the real Don D? Type in the actual ticker, not like just...
People are saying perpetual futures contract? I don't know.
Perpetual trading pair. Okay, but that's cool. But give me the actual ticker so I can look into this thing. It's a perpetual swap trading type popular in crypto that allows a pool of capital to leverage trade on a chain. CELH. No, Big Tonka. Is it CELH?
What's his name?
Like, come on, man. We're talking about Anthropic right now. I'll pull it up, but I'm pretty sure that's
Big Tonka.
Like, bro,
I like the name.
Sounds just holy. Big Tonka. Yeah, that's what's his name?
Who?
A Yeet song. Do you know Yeet?
Of course. Yeah, but I called him Ye, and you never let me live that one down. I remember that time.
Wait,
Yeah.
you calling me, hey? Did you?
I think so. Back in the day, then you're like, you're so old.
No, I
was
never.
Like, I
would
don't know,
never say
man.
anything like that.
Yeah, but what about him?
Well, you said.
Why are you asking about him?
Well, someone said you said Bing Tonka. And Big
Oh,
Tonka
okay,
is-
got
yeah.
it. My bad.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'm not finding this thing.
Ask chat. See if you're maybe Copilot knows.
The perpetual. Yeah, should we ask Copilot? I'm not even on. All right, man. Can you trying to do something for us here?
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Sorry, I'll take over. You didn't tell me to take
All
over.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm ready to go,
Anthropic,
baby.
USDT.
All right, I got these over here. Okay, I'm taking over.
I think I got it.
You got it? All
Yeah.
right. All right. He's got it.
It's $1,000. Is it $1,600, chat? Let's hide this.
This is Anthropic.
Yeah, petrol swap contract, $1,600
Really?
bucks. Yeah. So
How are we supposed to view this? Is there a market cap for it? Like, what are we supposed to do with this thing? Yeah, what is that, monthly?
this is daily.
Daily. Wow, that's new. Okay. I don't know anything about this. I have
it?
nothing to add.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so like, what does this even mean? What if we just want to own the common stock? Like, does this get converted into that or something, or does it appreciate? What's
Whether
the
there is no
correlation?
common stock yet.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, so like, when it IPOs, what happens to this thing
Great
specifically?
question.
You know what I mean?
Throw that in. Be like, what happens when this
Because if it's like if there's no tracking error and this thing continues to climb, there's no way. So I mean, for the value of that, this thing's $1,600. What are we thinking that we're going to IPO at with Anthropic? How much from a price target?
Bro, it's looking ever more optimistic. Every time there's a valuation, they're raising at higher levels, and then you have to assume that there's going to be a premium for the IPO. There's going to be a range. It's probably going to open up at the higher end of the range. God knows what it opens up on actual trading day. I'm liking a lot more of this, but to be fair, chat, apparently, if you believe some of the reports coming out from the industry, is really catching up with 5.5, specifically when it comes to coding. The new codex
that's
from
what I was
chat.
gonna say.
And that's the whole premium of Anthropic, is the fact that you're able to sell this to enterprise who can code their own way into it. They can save millions, hundreds of millions.
I heard the exact same
That's what
thing.
people are saying.
Codex is up there.
Even Jose said it was good.
Yeah, Codex is up there. But that's what I'm talking about. As much as we don't like Sam Altman, this guy does have a little bit of a head start on everybody. All right, I'm not looking to get into the swap. I just want to know how this thing can actually work. Like, if we IPO, are you going to get a one-to-one? What's the tracking error from the actual underlying asset? And when is this? Let's ask ChatGPT. Why am I asking myself all these questions when we have these tools right in front of us that we can use? When is Anthropic proposed to IPO?
Well, nobody knows. Everyone's saying the fall. It was supposed to be the fall of this year.
If it's this year?
If you believe the reports.
Target window between
That's what I'm
October or the fourth quarter of 26. So we're talking this year.
Fall, winter. Let's just go with that.
We're
Fall,
talking
winter.
practice,
Yeah.
this year.
Pocket practice. Yeah, dude. No, it's going to be sooner rather than later. We're going to get the SpaceX IPO. We're going to get the OpenAI IPO. We're going to get the Anthropic IPO. This is like a who's who of who's coming to market.
Man, I just need... Yes,
I'm holding the SpaceX IPO, and
Brother.
if I have to go out of the money on that and out of the money, I'm fine with that.
I might
I will.
liquidate everything in my long term and just go these couple of names.
Bro, you do what you need to do.
Yeah, I do.
You do what you need to do. If you see the opportunity in it and you want that 10 bagger, you want that 5 bagger, have at it.
Yeah, brother.
Have at it. All right, Joey,
hold on. Let me ask you one more question here.
Go ahead.
What does the bank account need to look like for you to drop posts on X like Elon Musk?
I have a really...
What number?
Dude, there is no number,
Hey,
man. If my family's on that, I'm not dropping that kind of language. No, man.
Right.
No, my family's not on X, but that's not the point.
Right.
Yeah. If you guys know what we're talking about, you already know what we're talking about. The Elon post from the weekend, it was quite comical. But Joey, let's get back to trading here. PRSO, there goes PRSO through the $0.50. We took it out there at the high of the day into 155. I lied. The high of the day is 156. We're still holding. We're looking for a bigger move here on PRSO. Now I want to watch how this one either holds 150 or fails below 150. It had a lot of trouble clearing 150, several failed attempts on the 5, and then we get that decisive breakthrough. So I'm holding on here. Let's see if we can get into 2/3, perhaps even 3/4. I'm not in a rush to get out. If it drops below 40 pennies, I'll risk 4 pennies. I'm out through that. That's trade number 1. Trade number 2, GSIT. 1236 high. We've got 1159s on right now. It is holding 12, but it seems to have a lot of resistance at the third of a dollar. Let's continue to watch, see if this one can get above that. And then just before I go to that super, JZXN, where are you coming from here, my guy? You were about to lose your spot on the coveted side chart. But there goes JZXN above the volume weighted average price, and now it's on the way to 160 with a 188 high. I basically was, I was losing hope on this one. This one was one of my favorite ones to start the show. I didn't really like the fact that it kept making intraday highs and then selling off into area lows, but we could manage that because it was predictable. Then it lost the entire trend. It lost VWAP, but here it is again, a pseudo double bottom into the low or into the high 130s, low 140s, and here we are knocking on the door of $1.60, being up about 75%. This will be on a lot of people's scanners, given that it is one of the leading gappers in the market right now. So keep your eye here on JZXN. I'm definitely interested in this one. I suspect the ones. They're under suspicion until otherwise stated. The ones that lose the volume weighted average price pretty quickly and then try to regain it. Because I always feel like this is setting up for a lower high. By that I mean, for example, it works up into 165 and then it drops back down into that 140, never really having made an attempt at that mid 180, high 180 high a day. So keep your eye on this one. It could be good. We'll have to wait and see. GSIT, PRSO, both on pullbacks at the moment. And then you want the truth? Poet looks like crap. That's another lower high right there through 14 and a fail of 14. Poet here could be a sell below 13 3/4. I wouldn't be so quick to want to short this. And quite frankly, Poet, I'm just checking my scanner here to see if the borrows on Poet are easy. It is shortable. So Poet is an easy short. Just on my exchange, I'm not talking about our work platform, but Poet, on my platform, my own exchange here, not my own exchange, my brokerage, over 3 million shares available for short borrowing. So it's an easy short, so to speak. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And then last but not least, shout out to Taylor in the chat. He pointed this one out. Shout out to Taylor. He's always been pointing out good ones here. RZLV. Not a big volume winner, and the volume spikes are kind of sporadic. But hey, man, when you're 2 pennies off the high of the day and you're looking this good over here, what's this thing up? Let's see, it won't show me here. I don't know why. RZLV, I didn't throw it on the side chart, that's why. Okay, let's throw that in now. RZLV. This one is up about 11 2/3, so it's not up a lot, but not a bad one here. I know I don't know what exchange I was in. I knew that some people were gonna come at me for that. Like my brokerage. No, I don't own it. Shout out to Oda. But yeah, Taylor Batty, man, good call by you. RZLV. This one could be a good one. Keep your eye out on that one. And then yeah, man, MRAA 1375 high a day. And by the way, GSIT's coming back down to 12 here. I want to see if this fails 12. Right? If it doesn't, it holds above 12 and shows you there's a big buyer. I'm going to add into this position, but I don't have to do it quite yet. We're not really pressed for time on this one.
What's JPM doing here today?
Poet lost the bid.
Oh, wait. Didn't even know it.
What happened, Neil? Oh, the market's moving?
Oh, yeah, market tanking here.
Yeah, the market really dropped,
Yeah.
guys. I don't see anything quite yet. As soon as Adara has it, she'll bring it to us. But yeah,
it'll drop
big drop
oil,
there.
Oil news, USO probably to the top side. Let's pull up USO right here now.
Ripped up.
Yeah, USO ripped up, so that's definitely in play right now. We're not too far off the ATH on USO, as you have a massive engulfing candle right here, guys, and some big-time volume really start to kick in. And United States Oil Fund, look at the volume supporting this move here, ladies and gentlemen, as we climb from 339 all the way up to 140.81, a big-time move in USO. Inverse correlation coming fully into play. And then we have Tesla. We had that one attempt. Now we're right back at to where we entered the position from before. I was thinking about going again at it, but I think that's it for me. A little bit cooler of a session. We'll keep everything going on until tomorrow. We'll accept the loss for what it is today, and then we'll be back ready and prepared. So sit on our hands and send it over to Adara, as she has some news for us right now.
Oh, boy.
Just saw the headline here, guys. You have the market pushing lower, as mentioned, and at the same time, USO pushing higher. Axios reporting that President Trump is considering military action against Iran, apparently meeting with his national security team on Monday to discuss, quote, a way forward with the Iran war. Again, President Trump considering military action in Iran, as reported by Axios. Back to you.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I don't know I don't want to get too much into that, but have they done anything since to provoke that?
Well, the fact that they're not getting the deal done, right? Like,
so that's enough.
The Strait is still closed. Well, the Strait is still closed, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
the Strait's still closed. They're insisting on nuclear, which is kind of like a red line for him, right? However you feel about, you know, one country having nuclear weapons and the other not, that's not the point of that we're arguing, right? Fairness, that's not really the point I'm trying to make. Point is, that's President Trump's red line. So if there's not going to be any concessions on that nuclear topic, then, you know, we're going to keep seeing more of this, quite frankly. And the Strait as well. Unless the Strait gets opened and the ships travel, there's going to be more of this.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what do you mean, like, oh my God? But in all seriousness, it's just like, hey, they sent, essentially the States just went over there, it was just like boom, 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 just started destroying things. I mean.
It's ugly.
Yeah, it's ugly.
I mean, it's annoying.
At the end of the day, like, these guys are obviously going to be like, hey, man, you just came over into our neck of the woods and just started causing, it's like chaos. Anyways, we're not going to get into all of that.
Get it, Joey.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get. Well, I mean, yeah.
Well, you're kind of getting it right now.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So there it is, the SPY and the NASDAQ bouncing off of the volume-weighted average price. Is this all we're going to need? Some form of a liquidity grab? Are we going to continue to climb higher, so high?
You like that album?
I don't even know what album.
The red one, where it's like My Hot Twisted Fantasy or whatever the hell it's called.
That's the Kanye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I graduated.
Keep it down, Ram. Yeah.
What'd she say?
My dark twisted fantasy. I said my hot twisted fantasy. She really liked that.
She really liked that.
Giggled up a storm.
She did, and she's still giggling. I know Graduation is my favorite Kanye album.
Graduation?
Yeah, Graduation.
Hey.
Good morning. Yeah, there's the SPY, there's the NASDAQ here, guys. Nice hammer candle. You can see the volume really start to uptick as it was really starting to cool off. And then sure enough, we need to throw out a truth. Someone needs to drop some form of a headline to get a little bit more volatility stepping into this market. And Tesla's starting to come back in. It went over an hour plus of just grinding completely higher. So some strong moves here. And DRAM also coming back into VWAP. Maybe you get some form of a continuation here. We'll look for it. I would like to see some hammer candle south of the volume-weighted average price, not north of them, because we tried on SLV earlier in the day. North on this specific one didn't work out for us, but then the second opportunity, the reload on the backside was the better play, in my opinion. So it's unfortunate that we missed out on a lot of trains here today. The Tesla train and the silver train, as it did put in a new high of the day, and Tesla just went parabolic.
It's still ripping?
No, it's cooling off a little bit. Paradise.
All right, man. We're still holding here. PRSO just popped up into 159. Shout out to Big Rudy Smasher. Dropping 2 in the chat. Made $4 off PRSO. Here's your cut, Sharif. He drops a 2. We appreciate you, man. Thank you very much for that. And we're going to keep having a good time. All right, guys. Looking for that move above 160. That's going to be my last beak wetter on PRSO. We're going to keep a close eye on that. And then I hope you didn't get pushed out of GSIT because it did technically breach 12. but it's right back into that $0.25, a little bit higher, in fact, showing 27s. I'm looking for a move above 40 here on GSIT. It feels like a bit of a consolidative range, but that was probably a drop below 12 because of the oil news. I still feel 12 is a decent area of support. There's 1230 again. 1236 is the high of the day. I'm waiting above 40s. Let's see if we can get a big price spike up on GSIT. Push this bad boy up into 50% on the day. We're going to see how this cookie ends up crumbling. There's 32. There's 33. 36 high a day. The bid, though, not quite moving up. Then Builder. Thanks, bro. Shout out to Vault Builder. Adam, James Abroad, my man. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. You know, he was so happy yesterday when that goal went in against Arsenal. And that didn't end up counting. You should have seen this guy freaking out. No foul, no foul. Got pulled. Yeah, no goal, buddy. It took him forever though to get that call right though.
You see your boy.
Yeah, I know. I already sport.
You see your boy Togi won 1.3 million on the PSG game.
No, what happened, man? Yeah. Oh, Joe, man, hold on, man.
Go, hurry
GSIT just popped up into the day high. 42s. I'm waiting at 43. No continuation there, so no continuation through the 40 penny area, but it is a 1242 high. Here's 42s again. Can we move up a little bit? The spread is opening up, down to 35 on the bid, into 42 on the ask. Definitely looking for a bigger move up on this one. We've got the right idea today with this. GSIT is looking quite good. Let's see if we can get the last print there. Tilapia tacos tomorrow, smash bros. Why you gotta be like that, Adam? He's kind of like Big Spile a little bit. He likes the market to go short. Which one, Assassino? Put it on. Throw it up, Assassino. Ah, there we go. Deep Cheeks AI.
No, we did not.
This is Joey's life right here. You think my $12 MU CC contract are safe for the 800 this Friday strike, or should I roll out? Thanks, ballers. You're the baller. Joey, give me your take on this.
Yeah, we talked about this contract actually this morning. Let's pull it up here. So keep that up there for me, Assassino. I'm going to read through it a couple more times. So let's pull up our options chain. Let's take a look at what MU is doing. $7.94. You think my $12? So that's how much you collected was $12. Contracts are safe for 800 this Friday. So let's actually see. We're gonna have to see what we got going on from a daily. I like this indecision print. It's awfully tight. Now, how much are those contracts worth right now? Let's pull up our screen. They expire this Friday, so we can pull up that specific contract. I mean, my question to you is, Deep, is why are we even writing when you have appreciation like this? All right, that's my question. And ask me why I would ask that question. Because I've asked it myself on multiple occasions. It's like, hey, even when I'm doing a poor man's covered call strategy and it's like, okay, it's working, what am I even doing writing against something that's going absolutely parabolic? So your $12, that's how much you collected? You collected $12? Like, make sure, because it makes no sense for you to even still be holding on to this contract since it's 3x. You know what I mean? Like, it's worth $38 now and you sold it for $12. It just, I've been in this position before, and that's why I have to kind of bring it up, is that you decided to write this at $12, even though that was on Friday, which is slightly comical. It climbs up to $53. That's not fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you will get assigned at whatever price that you write at, so you can still make appreciation on those. But don't you want to hold on to it or wait until it actually starts to turn around? And I'm going to say this now. I might be a little bit early, but what we're seeing from a price action standpoint, I think we're falling into that area where we might start to see a little bit of a pullback considering the massive run that we've been on. But it's not good to write something for $12 and then hold it 4x against you. Okay, so I've done it on multiple occasions with just poor man's covered calls. So just buying straight up contracts and then be like, oh, hey, I have this longer duration. Let me start writing some and collecting a little bit of premium while it's not working. I mean, while it's working. No, it just doesn't make sense because the appreciation within the underlying asset and you're owning actual shares in it is going to be greater than what you've collected. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Deep Cheeks, if you've wrote it for $12 because it's now worth $38. Right? So, I mean, Is it even worth it at this point? It could be, but you're running a really, really tight margin. There's not much room for error here, and you're up $49 today. I was watching this thing in Blue Ocean. I almost said Blue Mountain for those who know about that. In Blue Ocean last night, and it was climbing higher. There goes Tesla. So a little bit early on that first entry, works on the back half. Anyways, nonetheless, you might have to roll. Now, with that being said, let's go over an example. We'll do, instead of 4 days, we'll go to June and see what these are going to be offering. That's much better, right? So you'll take a pretty big loss. 12 contracts, bro. I got 50 more overweight. Dude, 12 contracts, but you're still not making any sense. So $12. But why did you say $12? I got 50 more overweight. I don't know what that means. Sorry, Deep Cheeks. He has 12 contracts, not at 12. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, dude, 12 contracts? Did you say that? Oh, okay, I see a lot of people saying that. I mean, that's a completely different story. Your MU is good. Yeah, 12. You have 12 contracts? I mean, you've been rocking and rolling on those. Nothing wrong with locking in a little bit of a profit. Give me a little bit more detail, and we'll touch on it more because you're kind of giving me it in pieces. But if I'm wrong, you have 12 contracts at a good price, then there's nothing wrong with locking in a little bit of profit, especially on this big-time run. And I'm going to say it because of this. Let's head over to MU. Is this just this indecision print? And I was talking about the expansion as we get higher and higher. We can call this as somewhat of a doji or a gravestone up here, or like a indecision candle. I'm not going to say we're going to capitulate, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more pullback. But if you have 12 contracts, man, go enjoy it on a beach somewhere because you're sitting on some good cash, man.
Good look, man. A little disappointed here with what happened on GSIT. I mean, it got right into my level and it didn't cross. I could have taken it out a couple of pennies below, but I'm pretty stubborn and I kind of insisted that it print. So now we're a little off the highs, 1242 high, kind of dropping into the mid to low teens. I'm going to keep a close eye out on this one, but I want to bring your attention to a new one here. Well, it's really not new, but it showed up on my scanner a little late, MRAM. This one was a real mover in the aftermarket on Friday, a little late to the party too, but it pretty much had a good day Friday. Look at that uptrend the entire day, kind of takes its time there in the afternoon, and then it didn't break out right away at 4 o'clock. It was around 5:20. This thing rocketed up about 40%, and today, no difference. Higher lows, higher highs, $42 on the dot is the high of the day. It is a more expensive name for the small cap gapper traders, up 52.33%. This one could see 50. I mean, it's had some respect generally for the 10 EMA on the 5, but MRAM should be in focus here for you guys if, you know, you can kind of stomach that price profile. PRSO, it's dilly-dallying here, but still holding above the 50 penny area. I'm going to continue to hold it so long as it's above 50 pennies. If it closes below that $0.50 on the 5-minute chart on a closing basis, I'll get out. But at the moment, going to steer clear of the exit there. And then GSIT, as I mentioned, anything below that 1190 is going to be my out there. We've got 1159, so we've got a nice little buffer that we can kind of keep focusing on here. Poet, it looked like it was going to fail, right? There's a lot of shares available for short on this one, easy to borrow. It dropped below. This feels like it was a short, a bear trap. Look at that candle at 1240, the low of which is 1362. It regains trend pretty quickly, and now we're right back into that range. $14 to the high side, generally $13.75 to the low side, so a 25 penny range, I want to say, since basically 1205. So almost 50 minutes worth of that range. There's PRSO popping back off into that 153 area, so that could be an interesting one for me here at the moment, but not going to do much of anything on these ones until I see some more price action. But this is the goal that I want to show you this. So I'm not going to show you the goal itself because we'll get dinged, but this was the foul. So the goalie should be able to go and make a play for the ball. What the defender there did was, number one, he put his entire arm. So if I go like this to you, number one, that's a foul. I'm pushing you back, right? And then moreover, put up your arm. Put up your arm. You're trying to get the ball. I'm pushing your arm down to try to get the ball. That ain't going to please anybody. But it took these guys on VAR like 5 or 6 minutes to get this right. I don't know what was so confusing about this.
Yeah, look at it.
But that's what happened there, Joey.
Sneaky move there.
A little sneaky move, right? And so, sorry, Mr. what was this guy's name? Pablo or whatever the hell his name was. Anyway, he got dinged with a foul there, and Arsenal wins 1-0 to the Arsenal. The problem is Arsenal always do the same thing and get away. That's what I heard, Kevin. I've never seen an Arsenal player hold down the goalie's arm when they're trying to make a play for the ball. I see them crowding the goalie, but there's legal contact and illegal contact. I think that one was pretty decisive there. Yeah, that's all I've got at the moment.
Yeah.
Sia's in the house. She's back, so we're going to be starting the news pretty soon.
Yeah, what's that big IPO that Neil was talking about here this morning?
There was one there. Check the IPO page on the NASDAQ there. They've got it.
This week in IPOs.
What do we got?
Vitaru, Tidal, what do we got? Fervo Energy, I've seen that one. Oh, Cerebras.
Cerebras, yes, I've heard about that. They've been raising money too.
On the NASDAQ. What do these guys even do on Thursday? Is this going to be a big, yeah, Cerebras, thank you, Sergio. Yeah, I got that one there. AI Holdings on the NAS? Okay. Is that like, we got to figure out what some of these guys do, just in case it's one of those bamboozlement plays, just putting AI in your name, and then you're looking to just gain some cash. But nonetheless, I like the IPOs. We're gonna get rocking on those. If anybody knows what Cerebras actually does, put it in the chat. We can always just ask Gemini. Let's do that right now. You know why?
Why?
Because we can do anything we want at times.
Yeah, pretty much.
With some exceptions. Cerebras, how do you spell this bad boy? Cerebras. Cerebras IPO. What does this company do?
Want me to take over?
No, we were doing now. Is a high-performance semiconductor company that has gained significant attention as a major challenger to NVDA in
Are
the
they custom ASICs or GPUs?
That's a
major
it's a
question.
major. That's a great question as well too. So it's
How do you spell the name?
CERE.
CERE.
BRAS.
Okay, go ahead.
Cerebras. Yeah. Revenue, 510 million. I mean, I don't know how you're going to just IPO and then you're an automatic contender against NVDA. I think that's a little bit of a push.
Custom ASICs.
Custom?
They're basically a Marvell Broadcom competitor.
Bang. We like that one a little bit more now, Sharif. Yeah. So, didn't I swore that who's aside from Marvell, who's the custom ASICs company that NVDA invested in?
Grok, G-R-O-Q.
Well, yeah,
Private.
Private.
Yes,
that
good
was it. So,
it also, funny enough, set a new range for its IPO, so the company could be potentially worth $48.8 billion. We'll talk about that in the next segment.
They increased the range of the IPO, eh? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's coming up. As I was looking through the afternoon news segment here, so Sia has it on there. We're going to cover the IPO, so if you guys are looking for more information on that, stay tuned.
Also,
we should be... Yeah,
signed a landmark deal to provide 750 megawatts of compute to OpenAI. E42.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
And again, inference, a little bit more important here now with the models, most of the models already having been trained, and we're not really requiring GPUs as much, and that's what we keep talking about. So it should be super interesting to see if they get any net benefit. But don't forget as well, we talk about Broadcom, we talk about Marvell, we're going to talk about Cerebras, you mentioned Grok. Don't forget about the TPUs, the tensor processing unit. That is a major competitor in the custom ASICs game as well.
Yeah.
Application-specific integrated circuits, man, TPUs.
Yeah.
So they're throwing their hat into that ring as well. It could be quite disruptive.
But don't we, I find, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it's like the hyperscalers, the individuals who have the cash who have the ability to create their own custom chips, right?
And that's fantastic because they have all the money.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not going to order one or two. They're going to order, you get it, like thousands.
Exactly.
Right? So that's the point, is the custom ASICs is for the deep-pocketed people because, again, they're the ones that have the money to fork over for that custom chip, and they have very specific workloads they're trying to run, right? Like, I do love that. aspect of it.
DRAM right back up towards a key pivot high, man. There's a good indecision print at the volume weighted average price. I said I wasn't in love with it right here, but there it goes, off to the races, 55.93, and Tesla's still hovering up here around its high, $440, consolidating in that neck of the woods. And then silver, we may as well take this bad boy off our chart, or we can just add IBIT to see how this dog has been performing in this race today, off down to 46.15. Oh man, yeah. I mean, Cerebras isn't going to be my play, but Anthropic, SpaceX, and even what was this? Sam Altman and company, ChatGPT. I'm looking forward to that. To be honest with you, can we relate this to? I think it's a little bit different just due to an IPO standpoint, but can we look at this and these big names coming to market kind of like the weed boom that we had? Or do you think a lot of it's already priced in, considering that we're in when did this really all kick off, 2022?
You know what, man? I mean, you hear about all the compute required for all the future AI workloads that we have to run, and you feel like this is going to be a multi-year kind of tailwind.
Yeah.
That's the good side of the coin. The other side is you start hearing about these efficiencies being made within the industry. So, for example, to run process A, you needed, I'm just giving you any numbers, 5,000 GPUs. Now, because of algorithmic improvements and some other structural changes, you only need 2,500. So there are these efficiencies taking place within the industry. So then do you really need that compute? That's the only kind of caveat that I would say for the multi-year tailwind. But if you're looking from a compute requirement capacity, it's going to be a multi-year build-out.
I forget, there was a point that was made just due to the fact is you're saying that you need essentially less compute, but there's a way that you can use all of it and still benefit like it was before. I'm trying to think of exactly the point that was made. It's not coming to me right at this moment, but
All right, let me just cover a couple of things.
You want to cover a couple?
Yeah,
well, I was
going
to say that was the issue with Sam Altman. It's like, okay, everybody's kind of crying the fact that he missed monthly active users, but he's still at like 900 million. He didn't hit that bill or whatever that marker was that they were looking for.
About like 94 or 96% of those users are free.
Yeah.
There's no ads on there.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're looking at the realized revenue,
For
right?
sure.
Whereas Anthropic, sure, they got way less DAOs,
but it's
daily
the
active
enterprise
users,
side of things.
but they're getting big money because their margins are so insane on the enterprise.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, okay, so let me just get to this quickly over here. Thank you very much to Jeremy for pointing this out. Sidhu's making a move here. The DU's ripping. The DU is up to 390. It's up 14 1/5. SIDU, good flat top breakout there through 375. SIDU is on the move, and it's been on the move, I would say, for a couple of days. I mean, we definitely held that 3-ish area last week. We did fail below 3, but it seems to retrace above $3. Let's look quickly at the daily to get an idea of what the DU's been doing. Gnarly looking double top here through 5 at around 5 to 6, 575 to 6. But hey, we're not losing trend. And when it did drop, look at the clear hold on that 200. That's a 200 exponential moving average, that blue line. That typically doesn't happen by accident. As I mentioned there, that $3 area, a local level of support that we didn't close below since. The last time we closed below $3 was April 1st. So $3 definitely an important area here, an area of import for SIDU. Shout out to Jeremy for pointing that one out. Good look, brother. I just got into another high day there. And then last but not least, let's throw this one on before we start the new segment with Sia. MRAM really going and mostly respecting the 10 EMA on the 5. It's essentially a $43 high, $42.99. Bit more expensive of a name, as we mentioned, but it's up 56.5% and holding structure quite well. So that should be, you should be looking at that one if you're a small cap gapper inclined. And then last but not least, I'm continuing to hold my GSIT trade because look at all these bottoming tail candles off 12. I mean, I feel bad for not adding into that $12 area, but that wasn't a planned ad, so I didn't want to go ahead and do it on a whim. But $12 defending here, whether or not we can get above $12.50, we'll have to wait and see on the day. But GSIT looking pretty good, and I'm happy we held that one. So yeah, that's basically all I've got for now. Shout out to my man Sam from Egypt. There you go. Where, did you tell me where you're from? Because I asked you, Sam. No, I didn't hear him respond back. Ozan, that looks like a cup and handle to me. Shout out to my man Ozan. Mike P.D. Ryder does not like Sidhu. So I won't ever mention that again, Mike. I do apologize, but Jeremy was asking me about it. So, you know, Jeremy asks, Jeremy gets. I got out of PRSO. It lost trend, so I'm kind of out of that one. I'm really focusing the majority of my efforts on GSIT holding 12. Adam James abroad. Give me some bot farm money, baby. Caching. BOT. Is that a ticker, or are you just talking about bot farming? Let's have a look at BOT. Yeah, it's popping off over here. Okay. Is this an IPO? Yes, it is. Okay. So we have an IPO, BOT. Shout out to my man, Adam James abroad, coming through there. BOT. What is this on the NQ? Yes, it is. All right. This one opened up, it looks like at $33.14. And here it is at $41. Lightly traded though, guys. 336,000 shares. There's certainly a 41 seller, so be on the lookout there. But look at the bid was like at $38. And now it's ripping up into 42 on the bid. So 41 on the ask, now 42 on the bid. But yeah, it's all over the place here. Good luck with this one. Adam, I hope you print up multiple storms on your side of the screen. But it's a little too erratic for my liking. Where's Casey when you need her? She's all about these type of things, man. I don't know. I haven't seen her in the chat, so she's probably not here. Sia, you ready to go? Yeah. All right. Sia, ready to go with the news. So we're sending it up to the big desk with Sia.
Let's start with the oil news for today. So oil prices are moving sharply higher. We do know that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that the conflict with Iran is not over, which has increased prolonged fears and disruptions across Middle East energy markets. Now, WTI has climbed over the $95 mark, with Brent also above the $102 mark. Both are now up roughly 40% since the conflict began in late February. Now, markets are primarily focused on the Strait of Hormuz, as we all do know it. And Citi has warned that delays in reopening the route or only partial reopening could keep supply disruptions elevated much longer than expected. Iran has also said in a report that it will never bow heads before their enemy, with also U.S. President Donald Trump saying and rejecting Iran's latest counteroffer, and he's called the document unacceptable and too long in his interview today, which signals that the negotiations are difficult and geopolitical risk premiums will most likely stay elevated, with that USO up by almost 5%.
Yeah, great day for the oil names today and a great day for the spot traders on oil. I mean, I think this really comes down to a couple of things, whether or not an agreement can be made for the reopening of the strait and whether or not Iran will cede its ambitions for a nuclear weapon. We can feel different ways about whether or not, you know, it's legitimate for one entity to have it as opposed to the other, but that's really beyond the scope of what I care about at the moment. And what I do care about is the reopening of the shipping lanes and this war to come to an end. And it doesn't look like it's going to come to an end unless those 2 points are decided upon.
Yeah, I completely agree. I stood in the camp of that this is going to go on significantly longer. You just don't unleash that kind of fury and then things end in a couple of weeks. They're not going to just roll over. Trump stating that the ceasefire is on life support, so they're ready to get active once again. And with that being said, it's going to take quite some time for things to get rolling and them to get back to the tables. And if they start dropping bombs, watch out for oil to continue to climb, because you're just going to poke the bear on one side or the other. That's where I'm going to stand. I wouldn't be surprised, even though it's going to take some time, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it's the smarter play that you see a lot of countries, i.e. China, really start to diversify their oil trade. Is this part of the grand scheme of things in the plan maybe within the United States? It could be, but why would you ever want to go through this again, especially within a conflict, within a region that tends to be plagued by conflict?
Great.
See you.
Let's talk about the hantavirus, which has caused a surge in pharma and biotech stocks today. So Moderna, Inovio, and Novavax stocks have jumped past the opening bell. Now, the World Health Organization has flagged the outbreak of the hantavirus, which is a fatal respiratory disease that was caused by rodents on a cruise ship on the 2nd of May. Moderna has conducted preclinical research on hantavirus in collaboration with the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases, and CNBC has said that in an early-stage effort and reflect Moderna's broader responsibility to develop countermeasures against emerging infectious diseases, but there's no confirmed vaccines as of yet. Evercore ISI also has said last week that it's unlikely to be a revenue opportunity for Moderna. But in this case, Inovio has risen just over 1%. Novavax and Emergent Biosolutions have fallen less than 1% after this. And Moderna down by almost 2.3%. Well, Adara, what do you have to say on this? I remember you had something to say.
Yeah, I have a couple things here. So for one, I think it's worth noting this companies that are actually contenders for developing a vaccine. Now, we know even before Moderna said they were working on one, they were considered like the top hantavirus vaccine contender. Now, as you can see, their revenue growth definitely declining throughout Q2 to Q4 2025. Q1 2026, you start to see an acceleration of growth. This infographic, not yet on X, but it'll be dropping around 2 p.m. on X at TTV Research. But in terms of other companies here, it's not just Moderna. The other two, Sia, that I think I've seen definitely floated around as potentials for developing hantavirus. It's not going to be Inovio. It's not going to be Novavax. It's going to be TRAW, TRAWS, or SAB, SAB Biotherapeutics. Those are the two that I'm seeing, if any, along with Moderna, to be the potential to actually develop the hantavirus vaccine. So I would say those are the ones that I'd be watching with news related to hantavirus.
Actually, a pretty good take. Well, thank you, Adara. Boys, what do you have to say about this?
So what the first thing I want to focus on is this seems to be a very specific strain for the hantavirus that's actually transmissible human to human. It's called the Andes virus. It's one of the few variants for this hantavirus that actually can spread between people. So this kind of increases the addressable market if it's going to be one of those ones that can be more infectious. The reason that that's important is it's a read-through to Moderna's possible revenue. And what I like about this as well is that we're seeking, Moderna that is seeking what they're calling military-grade validation. What do I mean by that? They're in direct collaboration with the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. The partnership is kind of suggestive of that any successful vaccine for this hantavirus could be fast-tracked as a national security asset with a guaranteed government procurement. So what you're getting is two positives here. One, because you're working with the U.S. Army, you could get that fast track from the Department of Health and Human Services and the FDA and everybody else that's responsible for that. But you could also get sticky government money because it could be sticking around here as they look to build up, the reserves, the strategic reserves for this vaccine should it be made by Moderna. So I do like these two things. I like the fact that I don't like it, but I'm addressing the fact that this is a more infectious disease than the one we had been previously hearing about, which was it's not typically spread person to person. Apparently, this is one of those strains that is of the virus. And number two, they've got to tie up with the U.S. military and potential government procurement money. Those are my 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, the World Health Organization saying there's a very low chance that this is going to be as big as COVID. What's that?
Adam is making me
laugh. Yeah, I don't think it is. I'm not going to get into too much depth on how I personally feel about it. Obviously, if people are getting sick, they found patient zero, South America, World Health Organization saying, hey, we don't think it's going to be that big. But if being proactive is something that we want to do with this, sure enough, that's what's happening right now. But I just don't see what's going on in Moderna. It's not going to be a full-blown recovery. And when you did pop up to $59, you pretty much sold off and gave the rest of it back. So I'm not going to call it fear-mongering or anything along those lines. My mom was texting me saying about the hantavirus, but I just don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. Like,
hear about how this whole thing happened? Like these
some
guys
dude touched a rat in some.
Hold on, they were on a cruise, and then a couple of people that were on the cruise visited a landfill.
Yeah.
What?
What were you doing?
Who goes on a cruise and says, I know what excursion we should do. I got it, Joey. The activity for the afternoon is we're going to go to the local landfill and we're going to touch a couple of rats.
Yeah. Like, who would? How do you even get a hold of them? Because they're usually really scared. But yeah, that's where I land on this. I don't think it's going to be anything close to what COVID-19 was. I think they're just trying to build it up and try to bring back that fear and a little bit of fear-mongering.
They were bird watchers.
Back into. Were they bird watchers?
But what are they doing at a landfill?
That's fine. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care what you are, a bird watcher or anything. It's just, what are you doing there? Nonetheless, that's where I stand. It's not going to be as big as COVID, and I think it's a little bit of fear-mongering.
I hope not. All right, Sia, what do we got next?
About Circle next. Circle's rallying at the moment. It's up 12.3% right now. So Circle's stablecoin growth is something that we're going to take a deeper dive into. It reported a Q1 EPS of 21 cents, which beat the estimates of 19 cents. Revenue come in at $694 million, which missed the expectations of $715 million. Circle is continuing to benefit from the rising adoption of USDC, which is its dollar-backed stablecoin that it has developed with Coinbase. Now, management is increasingly viewing stablecoins as a core infrastructure for AI-driven payments, machine-to-machine transactions, and global settlement systems. And a key theme that's emerging around Circle right now is the idea that stablecoins may evolve beyond crypto trading and used cases into broader financial rails, but regulatory uncertainty remains at risk. Why? Because Congress continues debating stablecoin legislation, and traditional banks are also pushing back against crypto firms that are offering interest-bearing products which are tied to stablecoin deposits. Now, Circle is up 12.5%, but I did talk about that regulatory hang that continues to remain at risk. What do you have to talk about that?
Well, that might be a little bit less of an issue because I was just reading here out from Eleanor Terrett, who's like a known personality here in the crypto research and journalism world. She said that apparently now you've got Senator Chuck Grassley, who's also president pro tempore. He's on board. Now they have to get Senator Catherine Cortez Masto on board. If you get these people on board, you could be getting some, I guess, headway here with the Clarity Act. So we'll keep you guys posted if I get any more from that. In the meantime, a couple things I want to talk about with Circle. Here's just the rundown. Like they've now had 4 quarters as a public company. They went public almost a year ago, so congrats to Circle. As you can see here, I mean, revenue fairly stagnant across these quarters. Now, adjusted EBITDA, pretty much the same here. USDC in circulation, the growth in that obviously kind of slowing over the last couple quarters, but the actual number of USDC in circulation is continuing to go up sequentially, so good look there. I also want to mention this ARC. So again, this ARC blockchain, they've raised $222 million for this from BlackRock and Andreessen Horowitz. That makes them the first publicly listed company to conduct a token pre-sale. So got to give Circle the props for that. I also love their brand colors, these lovely little like purples and blues. So thank you to that as well. But last but not least, I want to mention something not related to Circle. It has to do with Apple. Some news here on Apple, guys. They launched fully encrypted RCS messaging in beta. The stock does not seem to care at all. One more thing here, I'm just seeing Zoetis being purchased by Michael Burry. So ZTS, he's adding to his existing position. Circle, though, interesting look, and I like that they're involved in this token pre-sale. I wonder if there's more from them with that. And I also wonder if there's a little bit more coming out here from them with this Clarity Act, how that'll impact the stock.
That is true. That's also coming up next that we're going to talk about. But that's also interesting take, Adira. Thank you, boys. What you have to say about this?
All right, so I have 4 points that I want to make here about Circle. Is the ARC, the successful launch of their ARC token to the tune of $222 million. And it already has a valuation kind of pegged at $3 billion. That's on a fully diluted network value, and it kind of signals that they're effectively launching their own decentralized government layer, and it's backed by big heavyweights, like people like BlackRock. So I like that first and foremost. And then, remember how we were talking about last week about there being like message boards and different areas on the internet where only agents go and interact? Basically to the exclusion of all humans, and that's what they're doing here. They unveiled this agent stack platform. It's infrastructure that's specifically designed for autonomous AI agents to both hold and spend USDC. So a bit of a look into the future. Thirdly, 263% increase in on-chain volume, right? We're talking about USDC. So while the revenue report missed, because they missed on the top line, due to interest rate comparisons, the on-chain transaction volume exploded by 263%, up to $21.5 trillion in USDC exchanging hands. It's a massive disconnect, essentially, that proves that the utility for USDC and the velocity accelerating is accelerating, regardless of the interest rates. So you got to like that. It's a good secular tailwind for some of these stable coins. And then the meaningful wallet density. What do I mean by that? So kind of tucked into the report there was the growth of 7.2, what they're calling meaningful wallets. Wallets essentially that are active and that have recurring usage. That's what they mean by meaningful wallets. Underreported was this kind of metric adoption is suggesting that USDC is being used as a real world commerce payment system as well as for payrolls. So I like the fact that it's being kind of used, you know, for more than just currency hedging. And that's what you and I talked about a lot, about, you know, companies not wanting to take on that Forex headwind. You know, you sell an iPhone in India, just for, let's just sake of example, 10,000 rupees, the rupee drops against the dollar, you repatriate that 10,000 rupees, all of a sudden they're worth 9,000. And so you're gonna have to have some sort of currency hedge. USDC seems.
And I think that's why we, me personally, speak for myself, but this is why we were talking about this a while ago. USDC, just the transaction fees, the ability to move money around the world using the blockchain is what really, really drives my interest within this specific name. Sharif went over some of the numbers. Now I want to talk about a couple of things. USDC in circulation, 77 billion at the quarter end, 28% year over year. Sharif was talking about meaningful wallets. That's it. In my opinion, I was like, okay, this is interesting, but then also as you read a little bit more, you see that's anything more than $10 a USDC. So if you have more than $10, they're classifying
That's
it. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're classifying it as a meaningful wallet. But hey,
7.2 million.
But hey, if you want to amplify your numbers, right? That's how you would do it, and not necessarily in a bad way. But hey, that's still up. That's up 47% year over year. And then we also talk about USDC and USDT in bonds. How much money they have in bonds is substantial and growing at a substantial clip rate. I think we're going to see more of this digitized dollar and more transactions. And once the banks really start to adopt this thing, the JPMs, the Citis, the Morgan Stanleys, the Goldman Sachs, watch their numbers and their margins continuing to increase. Why? Less transaction fees and the ability to move money faster and less of a cost.
I'm gonna throw a curveball your way.
Throw a curveball my way.
So we know that the interest rate, the yield on a bond, is inversely correlated with the price of the bond. Just for those who don't know, the price of the bond goes up, the yield goes down, and vice versa. So these banks, now they're legislated to actually hold treasuries and or US dollars as a hedge against all the money that they have in USDC. So if you have 100 million, or I'm just giving you any numbers, in USDC, you have to have 100 million to offset that in either bonds or treasuries or whatever, T-bills, or cash. My question to you is, if the USDC, Tether, and all these other stablecoins continued boom, and the banks have to hedge against the USDC and they buy bonds, does that push down yields?
That's a great question. I honestly, I think that's a difficult one for me to answer.
See that?
I see what you're saying. That'd be tough. I think the answer would be yes, though, to be honest. You'd see a slight downtick in the yield that you would receive, actually. From
I'm assuming if the numbers get big enough, right? If they become like Warren Buffett, where he holds 5% of the market, right?
Exactly.
All right. Let's get back to Sia. Oh, hold on. Thank you very much, Mark9670, for the $5 super chat. Thanks, Sharif, for PRSO and GSIT. I've started trading using risk-reward ratios, and I can't believe how dangerously I was trading beforehand. Don't beat yourself up, man. You know, we all learn about, you know, these like different little techniques and methodologies for trading. Good on you. Stick with us every day. Joey talks about risk to reward. I talk about it. The Katina Man and the Neil, obviously, all over that life. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat, and stay killing it. I hope you're printing multiple storms on that side of the screen. Sorry, Sia.
That's okay. We'll move into our next story. We're talking about IBIT's crypto regulatory momentum here. The U.S. senators are expected to consider the Clarity Act next week. Adira and I were just discussing this. This is something to look into, so which could potentially create the first major regulatory framework for crypto in the United States. This bill would clarify whether digital assets fall under the securities or the commodities rules, which will give the crypto industry a long-awaited legal certainty. Now, crypto firms are seeing this legislation as critical for institutional adoption and broader capital inflows into digital assets. The proposal also addresses the dispute between banks and crypto firms over stablecoin rewards and deposit competition. Now, this is somewhat of a crossroads because banks are arguing that stablecoins will and could pull deposits away from the traditional banking methods and systems, while crypto companies are arguing that this could that this could tighter restrictions that will unfortunately hurt innovation. So U.S. President Donald Trump's pro-crypto stand is a bit of a bullish sentiment across Bitcoin-related names and ETFs. It's true, but the traditional banks are the ones that will seem to probably take a hit after this. So for IBIT, the key driver is the institutional Bitcoin adoption, ETF inflows, and improving regulatory invisibility. So because of this, IBIT currently up by just 2%, nothing crazy.
Yeah, so I see, the crypto firms, they see this legislation as key to basically having broader inflows from the hedge funds, the pension funds, the sovereign wealth funds. They need that regulatory umbrella and the regulatory legitimacy for that money to flow in. I can understand that. We talked a lot about that when we first launched a lot of these ETFs for crypto. But the thing that I want to highlight is the proposal also addresses the dispute between the banking sector and the crypto sector over stablecoin rewards and deposit competitions. The banks have been arguing this entire time that stablecoins could pull deposits away from the traditional banking system, and then crypto companies say, look, tighter restriction, that's going to hurt our innovation. What I want to ask you, and I know you have your own points on this, why does the banking system here get the right to have exclusivity to the detriment of the crypto company for these deposits? Why? Because we've always done it that way? Well, you know what? They also used to sacrifice children, back in the day. We don't do that anymore.
No.
We evolved.
Sharif, you know what it is? It's because, hey, why do they get to do that and make money while we don't? We're going to lose a little bit of market share to individuals who are just trying to get away from the traditional banking system. It's like, okay, yeah, people don't want to deposit in their banks. Why? Because you're rinsing them all the time. You've got to pay banking fees and all this stuff. So people want to look for that decentralized finance. And the bank doesn't like that. They don't like that, obviously, because it's money coming out of their pockets. Right? It's like, oh, okay, well, hey, transaction. Well, guess what? They will find a way. They're going to hop onto the blockchain. Next thing you know, if and when this does pass, they're going to be like, all right, well, now you can buy your stable coins with us. We'll collect a little bit of a transaction fee. We'll create these own wallets. That's what they're going to do. Are they slow to adapt on these things? Absolutely. Yeah, but eventually, that's where they're going to have to be. Do you think they're going to get left behind when people are like, let's go more digital? If we're talking about a digital dollar, the banks have to follow. Right? And they will benefit it. But right now, someone's beating them to the punch and they're not happy about it.
Exactly. And you felt like they begrudgingly, like the big banks, the JPs, a lot of these guys, they begrudgingly got into crypto. Larry Fink. Larry Fink very famously was crapping on crypto any chance he could get. And then he said, hey, I'm a changed man.
Jeremy was the biggest hater. And then now he's
Jeremy, I love how you call him Jeremy.
Exactly. Jamie Dimon was one of the biggest haters, but he's like, hey, okay, if the people are really making money off of this, well, we want to get involved with it too. And it would be ignorant of them to not to get involved, right? Just be like, hey, no, we're going to stick to our old traditional ways and not adapt to what could be potentially a method of payment in the future.
Exactly.
Why would you do that and put yourself behind the ball? Now, let me say one more thing here.
Get it.
Do they have the power to throw those things to the side and say, hey, I think so. I think they have the pull within the government.
Traditionally.
To be like, traditionally be like, hey, no, we don't want to use this.
We're
not gonna market it or anything along those lines, which could be hurting to the asset class.
Of course.
But I think if it's the mass adoption amongst the public is there and the demand to DeFi is there, then they would be ignorant to not.
Yeah, and look, the cigarette companies used to have a lot of lobbying power as well, and they're basically blocked out. But I want to say one other thing. It's not just about the inflows. You know this, that they can't offer credit card rewards and stuff like that. The bank wants exclusive access, that things they can do to the exclusion of these crypto companies. What if I have a credit card, I'm Coinbase, and I want to give you, Bitcoin back on every purchase. Instead of cash back. Why would you prohibit me from doing that? Who the hell are you?
Because you're taking money away from.
I get that, but you better have a good freaking reason.
Absolutely, I tend to agree with you. You talked about inflows. Let's get a little bit more into them. This is the best that we've seen this year. 1.97.
Shouldn't have said that thing, but whatever. Everyone's coming at me about that whole we don't sacrifice children anymore. All right, guys, I get Epstein exists. listed. I probably shouldn't have used that one. Probably a different thing. But we evolve, right?
We evolve.
Yeah,
it's also evolving right now. Switch it up, chat. We're evolving right now, and we're looking at the inflows in Bitcoin this month. 9.7 billion in net inflows in last month, April, topping what we had in March at 1.37 billion. Is the popularity starting to kick back in? Yes. That's why we're 20% off of those lows. Okay, so that's why we're going to keep Bitcoin nearly at 81,000. We all know that, and supportive regulation could help drive Bitcoin towards a long-term $250,000 bull case. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves on this one.
Just before we get back, KEEL, like Keel, ripping up right now, up 11 4/5. Not a small cap gapper in this traditional sense. $2.6 billion market cap, flat top break through 430, on the way to 450. KEEL looks pretty good here if you're small cap gapper inclined. See ya.
No,
go ahead, Joey.
One more thing. I love the point that you brought up here. It's you would see, I think, well, people who are in love with the crypto space, I think you would see a lot of individuals move to the Coinbase or the Robinhood credit card if available. If it's like, hey, you get 0.000001 Ethereum back or Bitcoin back, right? That would be, I think that's a pretty big incentive for a lot of individuals.
Agree, man. See ya.
Deeper dive into the Cerebras story and how it's bumped its IPO range that you were discussing earlier. I would just like to cover a few points. So the company has said that potentially the company could be worth up to $48.8 billion based on its new price range for its IPO. Now, NASDAQ is expecting the IPO to launch on the 14th of May. Additionally, Greg Brockman, who's a co-founder of OpenAI, has expressed an interest in merging Cerebras with OpenAI, and he said this last week in a court in California. And he has said that Cerebras is the compute that they thought they would need. The company is looking to sell between the range per share of $150 to $160, which is higher from its initial range of $115 to $125. So the company will be worth potentially $48.8 billion on a fully diluted basis.
So a couple of things that I wanted to mention here. Number one, 80% currently of Cerebras' current revenue comes from one single customer. You guys will remember them as that big UAE AI firm G42. And, you know, that does provide a massive short-term backlog for demand. It also creates what they call a single point of failure risk. So something to be in mind, keep in mind when you look at the IPO. That's negative. Now, the positive side that I want to take is we know everybody and their mother's cousin in the semi-component world is hurting right now because DRAM is flying off basically the price is going through the roof. HBM for high bandwidth memory. Listen to this. Cerebras uses on-chip SRAM. That allows them to bypass this whole HBM supply problem and price problem, quite frankly, and it gives them predictable manufacturing lead times as well as doesn't eat into their margins. So I do kind of like that about how that they go about their technology. They're able to bypass HBM, at least for the moment. Perhaps their next set of chips, custom ASICs as well, maybe used NAND or DRAM, but for the moment, Joey, they're using SRAM, and that gives them a bit of an edge. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these numbers, as I continuously read into them, Sia brought us some. The company reported $510 million in revenue of 2025. That's 76% increase from 290 in 2024. Backlog, 24.6 billion in remaining RPOs there as of the end of the year 2025. But one thing that I also want to note, after a net loss of 481 million in 2024, they achieved a net income of 87.9 million. Some reports 237 million, depending on accounting adjustments. But what I'm getting at here is the ability to turn things around relatively quick after operating at a net loss in 2024, only a couple of years ago. That's what intrigues me a little bit more when we talk about custom ASICs and RPOs with OpenAI. See, the thing is, though,
what happened?
I've been saying this for quite some time. After I've seen all of these deals in regards to OpenAI and Sam Altman, it's like, dude, if you're not meeting your monthly active users and you're not really raking in that revenue, then how are you going to pay all these obligations like within Oracle and other people? And that's why I think the people find him fishy. But it's like, dude, you're missing on some of these numbers. So who's going to be missing their payment when it comes time to fork up that bill?
Well, the payment isn't going to be made. Remember what I said right on this desk. 1.4 trillion in spending commitments they had by the end of the decade. They gave that an $800 billion haircut. If you believe the reports of them shifting that internally, they've never confirmed it outright to the media.
Yeah.
But reports are they cut down the spending from 1.4 trillion down to 600 billion, an $800 billion haircut. Right? So, and that includes some of the Stargate stuff, which was $50 billion. We already know only like 48 something billion has actually been paid out. The rest of that 500 billion for Stargate, that's all going to be finance money, and all the financiers for that 500 or 450-ish billion, they're all like, I don't know if I want to be lending this out right now. So that's another point to kind of build on there for you. All right, Sia, what's up?
What's up is EcoStar. So let's discuss that. EcoStar has reported a first quarter revenue in this year of $3.67 billion, which is down from $3.87 billion as of last year, which reflects the continued pressure across the satellite and telecom business. Net loss attributable to shareholders has been narrowed to roughly $147 million, while diluted EPS has improved to a loss of 51 cents per share. Operating income positive nearly to $393 million versus an operating loss of a year earlier, marking one of the more constructive parts of their earnings report. Pay TV subscribers have fallen roughly from 666,000 to 630,000, which is the proof of the broader industry decline in the larger satellite division television demand. Wireless subscribers have increased modestly to approximately 7.53 million, showing a kind of stabilization in the company's wireless strategy. Broadband subscribers have declined roughly 58,000, which highlights the ongoing competitive pressure in the connectivity services that I mentioned earlier. And the market is viewing EcoStar primarily as restructuring and spectrum value kind of a story rather than the traditional growth telecom name. Investors are also focused on subscriber trends, debt structure, and any future strategic asset monetization opportunities. And currently, SATS on the up almost 3.2%.
Great look there. See, I just want to mention, shout out to Adam James, dropping another 2 in the chat. Reads as follows: still in bot, easy money, trying to close gap up. Yeah, there you go. Not bad, James. It popped off, Fabian, right into that like $47 area, right around $47. I think that what's the high of the day there? It says the high is 60. I mean, I haven't seen it at 60, but maybe because it's kind of messing up a little bit because it's an IPO, but good look there. Shout out to Adam James abroad. He's printing up a storm on this new IPO. All right, I got 3 points that I want to make here on the SATS EchoStar story. So they did report earnings this morning, and what seems to not get a lot of love is the back-to-back asset sales announced by the company. So between the $22.65 billion in spectrum sales to AT&T or the $22 billion deal that they have with SpaceX, essentially EchoStar effectively found a path to wipe out almost all of their $24.5 billion debt, which they've been really holding on to here ever since the satellite business kind of started to die out. So I do like that accounting and that structural change within the company to kind of right size. And their wireless ARPUs are really increasing, average revenue per user. So as I mentioned, the satellite business is dying, but what was really underreported is their retail wireless average revenue per user now hitting about $38.60, give or take. And that beats analyst estimates. Analysts were looking for $37 and about 3/4 there. And it's indicative that their move into Boost Mobile is attracting a higher value and higher value customers who are actually using more data and therefore spending, and thereby increasing the ARPU. Last but not least, there was a 5% drop in revenue. We know that from the earnings report, but the company did swing to a positive operating income, $39.28 billion, up from a loss last year. So nice way to right size there within one fiscal year. And that was driven by a massive reduction in depreciation as well as impairment costs. That is tied to the first point that I made about them kind of the spectrum sale as well as a deal with SpaceX. So I do like parts of this. It's up 3 1/5 right now, Joey. I mean, it's not rocket shipping up, but hey, it's positive on the day.
Yeah, there's not much. There's a couple of points here that I can pull up. was just seeing RAM timed somebody out for, they got a full day, man. We got to see what they had to say up on there. I'll find it momentarily. But nonetheless, guys, what I'm getting at here is, as from the earnings report, we talked about the numbers, but what I was looking at is TV subscribers fell to about 366,000 to 6.63 million. Wireless subs rose about 16,000 to 7.53 million. Now, if we're going to be looking at the technicals, this isn't horrible whatsoever, $105, but if you go back to August of last year, you're still getting 356%. So things aren't too horrible in this name, and there's plays with outside of the chip trade, and it's definitely falling into some of these satellite plays right now. So EchoStar, not doing too bad right now, $130.95.
All right, Sia, what do we got next?
Okay, we're talking about General Motors next. So GM is going to axe hundreds of salaried workers in their IT department. Now, the reductions will begin today, and it will largely impact about 500 to 600 employees in Austin, Texas, and Warren in Michigan. GM has confirmed the news of the cuts, which has first been reported by Bloomberg today, and a bit of a history. Back in October, so October of last year, GM had that massive job cut, which totaled to a massive range of 3,400 job cuts positions. And in January of this year was when those job cuts actually took effect. So in October of 2025, during the Q3 earnings and layoff announcements, GM jumped 20% in 1 week. Investors were cheering on the shift away from money-losing EV targets and towards more profitable gas trucks. That's just a bit of an overview of what the stock did after those insane layoffs. And today, at the moment, GM is down 4.2%.
Okay, so I was just reading through this because I didn't have a chance to read it in the morning. It looks as if this is not a headcount reduction for the sake of the bottom line. It's actually a purge and replace strategy. What do I mean by that? So management confirmed in the report that the cuts are designed to make room for new hires. And these new hires are going to have advanced AI and autonomous system skills that the outgoing individuals who are being let go do not have. So it's not a right sizing for the sake of protecting margins. It's more about a competitive change within the company. That changes, I think, their narrative a little bit. Number two, there was that $2 billion Strait of Hormuz hedge that we've been talking about. Most cite EV demand as, you know, the reason why cuts need to be made internally and to right size and to protect margins within some of these car companies. But analysts are actually pointing to that $2 billion projected hit to operating profit due to the supply chain disruptions in the Middle East, of course. So some are viewing these IT layoffs as a way to protect 2026 margins against rising raw material and logistics costs. That would kind of contradict a little bit my first point, which was they're not doing this for the sake of protecting margins. Rather, it's a like-for-like substitutions with the people coming in having more skills. We'll have to wait and see exactly how that all jives on the earnings report. I'm not sure when they're going to report.
Yeah, I don't know if, like, I see what you're saying there, but I believe it was Microsoft that was offering some of the older individuals the package in order to bring in some new players. They were allowing them to go. I think this is the exact same narrative that we're seeing here in GM. It's like, okay, you've been with us for quite some time, probably the older age bracket. Times are changing. You're not really familiar with the technology. So here it is. You're on the outs, and we're going to bring those new individuals who have a different skill set and have the ability to adapt to the ever so changing technology landscape. So yeah, that's what they got going on GM. You know where Sharif and I stand in pretty much the same boat when it comes to these legacy manufacturers. If the Chinese manufacturers came into North America, it would be a complete write-off. It would be over for them.
Over.
It's the auto workers union that is holding them up right now. So,
and we don't crap on people, but like a lot of the consistent stuff you hear from the Fords, GMs, and to a certain extent Stellantis is their inability to be flexible because the union insists on certain things taking place. They won't allow them to cut shifts. Otherwise, you'll see what happened. They'll strike, right? And if you want to move to more efficiency, obviously that's less workers, and that causes tensions within the union as well. Let's be honest about this.
Yeah.
This is not a China problem. right? That's not a problem that they suffer from in China. If they're going to lay people off, they want to make movements to their workforce or adjustments. They're not facing the same type of headwind from labor as we are here. It makes us a little bit less competitive on a world scale.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a regulatory issue, right? They don't care. But let's look on the other side of that coin. It's like, okay, you want to support the worker as well, too.
That's
right?
the other side. That's the positive side of it.
Like, yeah, exactly. So, like in China, it's like, hey, you've been working there. Okay, yeah, cool. You no longer have no job. But whatever happens to you, you have to worry about it. Opposed to here, it's like we're trying to maintain the jobs, make sure people can build that American dream, get that house. Obviously, we know what was going on in Detroit way back in the day. I wasn't part of that, too young. But yeah, nonetheless, is that there's two sides of things. You can't grow as quickly, but you also have the job stability on the other side.
That's what I'm saying. And I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. All right, what are we talking about next, Sia?
We're talking about Apollo Global Management. So Apollo APO has announced deals to acquire Emerald Holding and privately held Questrex as a part of a larger expansion into live events and conferences. So APO is planning to combine businesses into a broader platform that will be targeting trade shows, B2B events, as well as corporate gatherings. So Emerald shareholders are expected to receive $5.03 per share in cash, valuing the company at roughly $1.5 billion. And Questrex operates events across healthcare, hospitality, wellness, and life sciences industries. So APO believes that live events remain fragmented and attractive for consolidation despite the increasing digital competition and AI-driven engagement tools. So the firm is positioning around the resilience of an in-person networking and experience-based businesses post-COVID. So I'm just thinking from the standpoint of the investors here, could this be another step in Apollo's push into durable cash flow businesses outside of traditional finance? I leave you with that thought. And with that, APO down by 1%.
I think one of the more underreported stories here was the massive operational overlap that Apollo is going to have because they own the Venetian Resort in Las Vegas, and owning both of these event kind of organizers, which is Emerald and Questex, that's going to make it one of the world's largest convention venues. And then it also becomes a data story. So this isn't just about trade shows, it's data acquisition. Apollo actually specifically highlighted, what are they called? Questex, and then they have something called 365 digital engagement model. And Apollo very specifically in the press release said that they intend to feed the first party data from these 160 events into their broader portfolio to kind of build an AI-driven B2B intent engine. So you always hear these top guys in AI, whether it's Alexander Wang or some of the other guys, always say it's a data business, right? The person or the entity with the most data, with the best data, comes out on top. And it feels like, whether you're in AI chips or not, it's really a data game here, Joey, as they look to acquire some of that as well.
Yeah, I'm reading up on some of this stuff here too. They're looking to sell one of their publicly traded companies that's valued around $3 billion. There's some issue within the private credit fears as well too. But I wanted to bring us this, considering we want to talk a little technical and see what we got going on from that standpoint. But the flows noted in Apollo Global with 8,200 puts trading, or 3x expected, more active than June 26, 105 puts, and the June 26, 155 calls, with total volume in those strike prices around 7,000 contracts. The put-to-call ratio is sitting at 732, which is extremely high, while at-the-money IV is up around over 1 point on the day. So, yeah, you're sitting at a 7.3 put-to-call ratio. That's substantial and extremely bearish on this name, even though it's not tanking. But we can see that some of the options activity and the derivatives activity is pointing towards some more downside movement here in Apollo.
I was watching, actually, an interesting report. I think it was Bloomberg. I'm not 100% sure. Was it Bloomberg or Wall Street Journal? Not really remembering. They were talking about the whole crisis happening within private credit.
Yeah, Bloomberg. Yeah.
Bloomberg. Yeah, you saw that one, Sia? Yeah. So it was interesting. They basically talk about the fact that they hedged, or they invested heavily in what they believe to be our protected revenues through the SaaS space, right? Yeah. And so you always looked at these SaaS spaces as, pretty defensive, you know, unless there was going to be somebody else who comes in and competes with you. But the model itself was pretty, it had good longevity.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is being called into question because of AI, and specifically the advancements in enterprise AI with Anthropic.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing a lot more of that. And so we saw the whole credit crisis with them, with redemptions, and, you know, more users or more investors asking. Yeah, Blue Owl, Apollo, like Blackstone, all of them are kind of facing the same type of headwinds. A lot of them invested into these,
and it's spilled over into
software SaaS.
The traditional banks as well too, like the JPM, and that's why I think a lot of
yes,
I think that's why they're I think that's why they're not performing that well.
Can I say something to you though? What really got my goat was Blue Owl, public company, right?
Yeah.
You think that they'd have to open up the books to investors, but they can hide. They hide their contracts with these private companies because the private companies are private, and they're like, no, we can't give you this information because our client here is a private entity, not subject to public disclosure. So you Blue Owl Capital, you get the benefit of going on public exchanges, getting public money, and all the exposure that comes with that. And then you don't have to disclose the contracts that are basically your bread and butter.
Yeah.
It didn't sit well with me at all. Didn't sit well with me at all.
But that's how it works these days, man. You just find loopholes within the system, right?
Isn't that what they're always looking for, Joey?
That's what they're always looking for, man.
All right, see ya.
We're talking about Baba pushing AI shopping deeper into its Taobao ecosystem. Very nice name, I like it. Alibaba has said that it has integrated its Qwen AI model directly into Taobao, allowing users to search, compare, order, and manage deliveries through conversational prompts only, instead of knowledge-based search browsing. Now, the new Qwen shopping assistant is designed to handle product discovery, logistics, an after-sales service, and personalized recommendations inside of the Taobao app. Baba is also upgrading merchant-facing customer service tools, which will aim to replace scripted chatbots with AI agents that will be capable of handling more complex conversations and also sales workflows. Features will include virtual try-ons and price tracking tools, reinforcing Baba's push to merge AI directly into consumer commerce. And investors are increasingly viewing AI integration as a critical for improving engagement and ad monetization and transaction efficiency across, as you know it, China's slowing e-commerce market. And don't forget, Baba does report pre-market on the 13th of May. That's 2 days from now. Currently, Baba down on the day, 2.16%.
So I like this. I mean, any integration of AI that fits within your traditional business, your moat, certainly helps things. I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of experience in e-commerce other than, you know, what I use it for on a personal basis. But I could foresee a pretty useful tool here. Say you're looking for something, a certain product, right? It's a little bit expensive at the moment, and you run an agent who basically looks for this product, a good till canceled order, so to speak, to try to get you that product. That's crazy. Right?
That's a great idea.
To get you the experience. We'll
Buy
get you
up until.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or up to the price.
Yeah, exactly.
Adair's got breaking news.
Yeah.
Dell to the upside here, guys. Popping higher, seeing reports that Jensen Huang of NVIDIA and Michael Dell of Dell will be delivering a keynote on Monday, May 18th at a Dell event. So a week from today, we're going to be getting a Dell joint keynote between NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang and Dell CEO Michael Dell. And we know Dell popped last week after President Trump encouraged all of the viewers of an event to go buy a Dell. But they also got a downgrade this morning from UBS. We'll have to see if DELL can sustain this pop, but there is a pop to the upside on this keynote news. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Yeah, we all saw, of course, go buy a Dell, they're great.
Oh, yeah,
popped up like double digits on the day. No, but I don't mean, you know, just something to sort the price by or sort the item by price. I'm talking about something that goes out for you, goes on different platforms, Amazon, all the different websites that are being hosted by Shopify, and for a period of like weeks or months, does the analysis for you and then gets you the best price at any one point if it hits your strike. And you know, that's what we're talking about. Agents are doing this.
It's price matching, essentially, right? Like, so it's not, not
but
just
it's scouring the internet for you, brother,
for the best price of that specific product. I mean, yeah, as for Qwen, they signed the deal with one of the Chinese airlines as well. So they're just integrating this AI tool into as much as they possibly can. I like it. Can't really much say more other than Alibaba. It's the ADR play, right? So you have to be prepared what comes with it. Multiple gaps up, lack of performance decides to go on absolute rips. So yeah, that's where I really stand. I do like that they're starting to integrate into more and more. And that's the revolution that we're in. We talked about structural and fundamental change. You're seeing it in some key areas of the globe.
All right, that concludes the news segment. Thank you so much, Sia. For that, let's have a look at what is moving in the world of small cap gappers. And since we spoke last, a lot's happened. There's a buy program for whatever reason here on NVTS late in the day. Nary a red candle. Please don't freeze on me. Thank you. There has been no red candle on the 5-minute chart for almost an hour, 56 minutes to be exact. NVTS has been all green since the 105 candle, 23.80 high, ripping through that $23 area resistance. Good look on NVTS. Same look here with MRAM, which definitely caught a bid late into the aftermarket on Friday. Today was really no different. It did not give up the ghost, nor did it, though, get to that $45 level. Perhaps we may see 50 for MRAM coming later this week. 44.67 high, looks like a bit of a double top there. On the 5-minute basis, it just lost 44. Looks like could be support at 43. 10 EMA on the 5, support at 43, but you also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles on the 5-minute chart, all of which rejected 43 before that big boy candle right there at 145 took out that level. So keeping an eye on MRAM. We're also keeping an eye on Poet. I was gauging this one was going to give up the ghost sooner rather than later. It really didn't, man. It really held that support. I want to say at 1380, 1375. The support keeps moving up a little bit, but there's also resistance at 14, give or take. So this has been doing nothing essentially since we got out of it on that topping tail candle. So Poet in view. And then GSIT was the other very good trade that we had today. This one has also done nothing. I was assuming this one was going to lose 12 and head back to at least 11.5 to give VWAP a quick glance. That didn't happen, and now it's kind of trying to work its way back above that $0.25. So that's GSIT there. Last but not least, Joey, RZLV. This has been a bit of a sporadic volume trader where the volume has come in at random areas, and then there's basically a chasm of a price action here or volume action. But the price action has been pretty consistent. It's been higher lows and higher highs with a 1270 high. It's showing 69 right now. So if you can accept that kind of low volume profile on it, then have at it. But those are the ones that I was keeping my eye on. Doesn't look like too many came to the fore subsequent to that. There was JZXN, which was hot garbage, and we said very little about, rightfully so. Joey.
Yeah, absolutely. So all we had, we'll do a quick trader view. DRAM was our best one here on the day. It was a nice steady grind, just in it a little bit too early. Other than that, that's all we really got working for us here today as Tesla putting in a new high of the day. How did Bitcoin been performing? Let's pull that up. We've been talking some crypto here today in CRCL. So we'll take a look at a couple of these names. You can see Alibaba not performing too well here, gap down and continuing its slide. But let's head over to CRCL as it's now up to $133. Had a previous pivot. Where was that previous pivot high of around 136? It's only going to be a matter of time until it reached that level, and then we have the IPO height after just went parabolic for about a month straight there up to 302. So you're still down substantially off of that level, but at this pace, continuing to grind higher, down still 56%, down 56% off of that high, but we've seen the numbers continuing to increase. So maybe we can eventually get to somewhere around that neck of the woods. I don't think it's going to be right up there too quick. I could be totally wrong, but that doesn't matter. IBIT, let's see how you've been performing. Strong move back up to 46.42 here on the 5-minute. You have the pullback, and then you have the ability to re-engage here on Bitcoin. 46.10, that level held. You can see it was a pre-market level, bounce off to the races 46.50 when we have a previous pivot high of around $47. So there's IBIT, there's CRCL. And we may as well take a look at DRAM and see how that bad boy, I know we were talking about it not too long, but another high pullback, baby, for your boy, so we can start to get involved in this. When we were talking about it last week, think about it, there's Monday of last week. Is that last week? Doesn't matter. You're still up 40%, 41%. A lot of people were talking about MRAM.
RAM?
Not RAM, MRAM.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah. from $17 all the way up to $43.89, 156% in this name that we don't often talk about or have ever talked about, MRAM. But guys, you know what time it is.
Hold on, I got to do a quick analysis for somebody over here.
Do it up.
For Luis.
Barbados?
Pardon me? Luis Suarez, 4540, a.k.a. the biter. He bites people, Joey.
People.
Just ask...
Mike Tyson.
Ask Giorgio Chiellini. He got bit.
Okay.
Anyway, HIVE, looking really good here, Luis. Be honest with you, intraday, it's been basically putting in higher highs and higher lows throughout the day. It hasn't pulled back. It hasn't touched the volume-weighted average price. It looks like generally the 10 and the 20 moving averages are where you're looking to pick this up. So that's a great look on the intraday on Hive. But I also want to mention, this is also looking pretty decent here on the daily. It just took out the 200 exponential. It is now finding resistance at the 200 simple on the daily, which is 312, 313. Look out for that. And you're also now seeing the 50 moving average pointing upwards. You haven't gotten that, golden cross where the red line crosses over the blue line. That hasn't happened yet. And I should say, if you do get through that 200 simple moving average, you're looking at about 375 as a staunchy area of resistance on the daily, both as a level of resistance locally here back in January, and then as a level of support prior. Look at that, from basically September to when we broke above it, I want to say in mid-October, essentially 375 was support. So anticipate some resistance at 375 should it make up there. Get it, Jesse.